Hello, everyone who's...
Fuck's sake, you didn't say you were starting!
I did it!
Keep that in. Keep that one in.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to what we call the podcast. My name is your favorite Finnish person ever, Johan, whatever. And starting from the person who is closest to me geographically, it's the man from the land of oil.
Didn't know you were Qatari, Erik.
I didn't know Finland was so close to Qatar as well.
And then I think Scotland is technically closer.
Yeah, we're
yes,
north.
Of course.
Yeah, we're the most northern. Hello, everyone.
Who are you?
Oh, me. I'm
you?
Kyle.
I'm Erik.
You just don't know who I am, or you're asking for the audience. I've forgotten who you are.
This is going really well.
What's the fourth voice?
And Craig.
Oh, great introduction.
You've given the game away there, Johan. You've said his name out loud. I had to say my name, but you gave him his name for him.
Hello, my name is Craig. You may not know that, but I'm going to reveal that information now.
I'll cut that in post. That's fine.
Everything was going so
No,
good.
I'm gonna double it up to post. I'm gonna play it twice.
Excellent.
We'll play it like 5.1 surround sound
Bueno.
for that one particular part only, for the silent part.
Okay, so this time we have played a great game, in my opinion.
You've given the
Resident
game
Evil
away
4.
there.
You gained it.
Yes. Because there's a remake, so we played Resident Evil 4, the original one.
The old
2005.
The only one I can afford, yes.
Can you afford the GameCube version?
Oh, I had it on Steam. I think I bought this game maybe 8 years ago, and it's just sat there gathering dust ever since. So I didn't really pay for it as far
Yeah,
as not presently.
Did we all play the PC version?
I did.
Yeah, I certainly did.
Okay,
I already owned it on that. So
so
why
this
wouldn't
is
I?
going to be from a PC perspective.
You can actually buy the GameCube version fairly cheap. I'm looking at eBay
Well,
right
it
now.
sold pretty well, so I
Yeah.
imagine there's plenty of copies floating around. It sold 11.4 million copies this game across like half a dozen different
You know that
platforms.
off the top of your head.
I will name all of these platforms. There is the GameCube, PS2,
Original
PC,
released only on
Wii,
GameCube.
iOS, PS3, Xbox 360, Switch, PS4, Xbox One, Android, the Oculus Quest 2, and of course the Zeebo.
Oh, was it not on the R zone?
Probably.
Nah, they missed that one out.
It's pretty hilarious because when this game was released, I remember the hype for this because this was meant to be a GameCube exclusive
Yeah.
upon release, and then it turned out to be
It was
the
a timed
exact opposite.
exclusive.
It was a timed
I
exclusive.
think it,
Yeah.
it's on 3 different Nintendo consoles, let alone everything else.
It
Yeah.
came out in January in 2005 on the GameCube, and then it came out in October 2005 on the PlayStation 2.
I don't know if it was supposed to
It
be.
even last
it got-
year.
It got critical acclaim for both. So, fun fact, the Metacritic score is 96 for both copies. That is the top 2 spots of 2005 for both versions of the game.
PS2 and GameCube?
Yes, this game occupies both number 1 and number 2 in the highest ranking games of 2005.
And-
Although it was a pretty dry year, to be honest, so it's not really a
And,
massive
Didn't
shock.
Time Splitters come out that year?
Time Splitters 3 came out that year. That is the only thing worth noting.
That should be comparable.
Best FPS of all time. The Xbox 360 came out that year as well, just to put a bit of context on how
Ooh.
far back that was.
Was that the
God of War came out, Metal Gear Solid 3, Guitar Hero, Gran Turismo.
Wait, hang on.
4,
You say it was a
Pokemon
dry
Emerald.
year, and then Metal Gear Solid 3.
Yeah. What are you talking about here?
I mean, we did like, 1998 was Metal Gear Solid in the last episode. There was a massive list of games for that year that were like actual game changers. It's a bit of a more of a subdued year, 2005, with the exception of 1 or 2 standouts. Time Splitters, Future Perfect being the biggest one, of course.
Yeah.
Was Half-Life 2 2005? No, that was 2004, I think.
I think the Xbox version came out in 2005.
But we don't talk about that one, or the PS3 version.
Oh, the orange box. I had that.
PS3.
But saying that we
Jesus.
played the PC version, that is actually an upgraded package, because the original PC version's shit. Compared
Well,
to
Well,
the
it was
Ultimate
the
HD
one on
edition, it's
Steam,
Yes,
rather
but
than like the one that came out
Yeah.
on the disc.
Oh, they updated the Steam version a few years ago and made it the Ultimate HD version rather than making it the early PC ports, which obviously back then were a little bit.
We have a history of playing old PC
Yeah.
ports. It's not great.
I actually I booted up my my Wii and played the GameCube version a little bit after playing this one, and I'm gonna say it was very blurry compared to, because I
Yeah,
knew
I
exactly
would-
how everything was supposed to look compared to the HD. I was like, I can't play this. And I
I
played
was
it.
playing the game, thinking this game looks quite nice, but I realized I'm playing like a mega upscale
Yeah.
version that wasn't a true version of what it was like on the
Yeah,
GameCube.
but it probably would have been better
2005.
playing it on the CRT of the time, where it covers
Yeah,
all of that.
yeah.
I was playing
Adds
it
to
on
the
a
ambience.
I was playing it on a 47-inch
Yeah, that's the problem
that-
when you
that-
blow the
that-
resolution to that
with
scale.
with component cables though, so it was a bit scaled up. So
Yeah.
Like your TV humble brag attempt there. Well done.
So,
Very nice.
Small TV.
with regards to the Steam version, PC version, there are a few things that I wish this port could have done better. For once, there's not really any subtitles in.
I had notes about that. Well, they got also the Aldi codec thing. Going
Yeah.
on, where they,
Yes.
they have subtitles there, but there's not
Aldi
any
codec,
actual
Jesus.
in-game cutscenes that
Yeah.
have subtitles, which is a bit odd. Even games back then had subtitles.
Yeah, it's a
for
very
older
odd.
games. So, does the GameCube version have subtitles?
I did
I
not
don't think
actually.
so.
I didn't think about that at all. Actually, it didn't bother me. So
I'm so used to
You just
subtitles
paid
in most
attention.
games.
I had
Yes.
them on so I can just not pay attention to what's being said. So,
Mhm.
I
I
got.
like having them there.
I gotta say, I was playing it a little bit. The little bit I played on the GameCube, because this I played with an Xbox One controller on the PC, but the GameCube one I tried with the Wavebird, and I don't know if it's the Wavebird that's starting to get old with age and used, because I've been using it since it was brand new. But it did feel awkward with the Wavebird a little bit. And the Wavebird is one of my favorite controls of all time, though. So.
Interesting.
And
I played with an
the GameCube
Xbox One controller on
Yeah.
the PC, which felt quite good actually. I
It
have to
did.
admit.
Yeah.
As much as tank controls can be nice, it was.
Yeah.
I didn't go all these fucking controls at any point, so that's always a step in the right direction.
I had a little bit with the aiming in the beginning because I'd forgotten how you have to
Yeah.
you ready the gun and then you can shoot.
So
Let's talk about our kind of what we've done with this game before. We played it before. Metal Gear. Was this this
Board
game
game.
playing? Resident Evil
Having a
4?
stroke.
Are you okay?
Yeah, who's played it before? Have you
Well,
had any previous experience with it?
I bought it when it was brand new. I think they mislabeled it because I think it was brand new and it was 1990 when I bought it. I was like, they mislabeled this.
Pretty sure that can't be right. I think the first game came out in 1990.
No, the price. Ha 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 ha.
Oh right. Oh, I thought you meant that. Oh, okay.
Yeah, okay.
Specify, please. Thank you. That's what I was confused about.
They
That'd be
mislabeled.
mislabeled.
They mislabeled it, so it was €19.90.
Rob some poor independent game store. of
No, it was a
hard-earned
chain.
Chain. That'd be about what,
So, yes, I
£5
still-
then.
was a chain. It no longer exists because they ran out of
I-
money for selling
Yeah.
Resident Evil 4 so cheap.
So I played on GameCube when it was new. I played it on the Wii when that came out. I do have the PS2 version, but I don't really played that much of the PS2 version.
So the answer to the question is yes.
So they've had plenty of money off you then. You bought the game 3 times.
At least.
Yeah.
And the remake.
Yeah, and the remake, and the Steam version, yeah.
Yeah. So I
yeah.
only played little bit of the PS2 version. I never played through the entire game. The only Resident Evil game I've played fully through is actually the DS port of the original game, which
I
is
didn't
actually
know
pretty good.
there was a DS port.
I
It's
didn't even
actually
know
pretty,
that.
It's
You've
pretty
made
good,
made that up.
No. It's a Resident Evil Deadly Silence on Nintendo DS, and just like
He's making that.
What I call my farts.
just like Johan's price gouging of the retail stores, I also got that one for pretty cheap as well. So
That's why
As a
video games are so
biohazard.
expensive now. They're making up for lost time.
yeah.
Oh yeah. I blame these two exclusively for the way that the games are nowadays. Absolutely. Craig?
I didn't play any of the Resident Evils until 5, I think, at one, because I'm not even sure why I bought 5. I think it was just because everyone else was playing it. I thought I'll give it a go, and
Jumped on
then
at the right time, evidently. Yeah.
and yeah, it was, I don't remember liking it that much. I'll be honest, but then obviously when we were doing the deciding on a game, I thought, okay, I'll try Resident Evil 4. Yeah, I'm sure.
It was mid.
I've heard things about it. I'm sure it'll be fine.
Yeah. I owned the trilogy, the first 3 games on the PlayStation. I'd never beat any of them.
The PlayStation.
I get,
Sorry, do you mean original versions, or you have the PS3 package thing, or?
I said on the PlayStation. I thought that was kind of self-implied, but okay.
Well, because there was a package
on
the
the
PS3.
Sony PlayStation 1 console. Sorry. I played each one for maybe 2 hours, then got bored and lost, and I didn't like the puzzles and just put them to the back burner for a while. I'll go back to it at some point, and then obviously 20 years pass and they're still sitting in my to-do pile. But I'd heard about Resident Evil 4 being this sort of certifiable masterpiece, and I thought, I'm willing to kind of move that to one side and just take it a fresh perspective and see how it plays out without any sort of previously kind of bad vibes from the first games I played.
Did you play any of the other games you had as well, or did you just follow just the one you know?
I bet you did.
I played. I think I was at home at someone's place, and I played 3 when it was brand new. But before this, I had not really. Well, I'm just been thinking. I've touched 1 and 3.
Interesting. So this is perhaps
So we're the least qualified people to talk about.
We're all blind going into this.
I mean, I knew about the characters, if we say that way.
So
I knew about Umbrella. I knew about.
I mean,
Listen,
I know
game
some
doesn't
parts that are
lean
just
that
through
heavily on
osmosis.
I watched every single Resident Evil movie. I can just fill in the blanks where
Jesus,
needed.
Yeah, the game doesn't lean too
That'll be
heavily
our Halloween
on previous
episode, the
games,
movie.
thankfully.
Yeah.
You can go into 4 with a clean canvas and not miss out much, to be honest.
There are some characters.
some
From what I'm
amazing
aware of,
opening.
the games are basically
The
like
opening cinematic
self-contained
gives you
stories.
the opening cutscene gives you like an opening kind of cinematic about Umbrella and how this works and how that works. So you can use that to sort of fill in
Very
most of the blanks
simple
that you need
exposition,
to go
yeah.
forward.
Very
There's
simple.
more to it. You see characters later on that you might recognize if you played the first 3 games. 'Cause I was kind of like, oh, that person I know about from pop culture, but I have no idea who they are or what they actually do. So that was quite interesting.
Yeah.
So story-wise, for people who don't know, Resident Evil basically the third-person horror action with zombies.
It's
that a
meant
good
to be
explanation?
survival
Action in the
horror,
first
but
games.
this
Yeah.
this
What did I say?
game got this the
Action
series was meant to be survival horror, but this game took such a big step ahead. In, with regards to third-person shooting and action, that it basically redefined the formula for that sort of game going forward.
4, 5, and 6 all have these controls. 1, 2,
Yeah.
and 3, and Code Veronica
Yeah.
have the tank.
You
The
see
old.
its DNA in a lot of other games beyond the franchise.
Oh,
too.
yeah.
Games
Yeah,
like
I
The Last
get-
of Us or Dead Space and stuff
Gears
like
of
that.
War.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah, they all sort of lean heavily to that sort of
Yeah, I
third
think
person.
was it who is it that made the Gears of War? Is it Cliff
Roblox?
Galinsky?
Cliffy
Yeah.
B.
Yeah, I
It
think
was
I think
Cliffy B.
it said somewhere about that. One of the biggest inspirations for that game was because Resident Evil 4 he wanted to take that formula for
Make
his
it
own
edgy.
thing. Yeah.
Oh, mission accomplished.
Mm.
So yeah,
Oh,
it's the what do you guys make of the actual kind of the basic controls before we get into the actual?
As I said, it took a while for me to get the
Yes.
the run round and then like ready weapon. Like you have to like press in
Yeah.
the button and then like the laser sight shows up. It took me a while to get back into the groove of it, but after a while, comfortable, no problem.
Yeah. As
I
to
didn't
get-
know it was tank controls until later, until
Yeah.
I started
Really?
to play the game for the first time. I thought it was kind of more like you can move around
Well,
while you're aiming.
But
Sort of game when
like I
first-
said, I played Resident Evil 5 before, and it's more or less the same.
Mm.
So I
Really?
was like already prepped. Like, okay, I know how this works.
it took me a while to get used to the whole I have to stand still to aim while I'm getting like kind of my face mauled off by zombies. But eventually I got used to it. The fact you can do like a 180 turn,
Yeah.
that's
yeah.
invaluable.
You need
Yeah.
to learn to
Because-
do that.
Yeah, because in the old games you had to turn very, very slowly, and that's when you were in the most danger at that point. So you got a bit more nimbleness that way that I felt was quite useful.
It leans a lot more to just as like an action game rather than a horror game.
Well,
Oh yeah, I think it had
And
to.
I think
given
that's-
what they were working with.
well, there are parts where you have to like, oh shit, no ammo basically, and you have to use the knife to knock them down, and then you know.
Yeah. To
I
conserve
had that
ammo.
a lot.
So actually,
yeah.
that's a point I want to talk about with regards to conserving ammo and such. I was not aware when playing the game, starting and playing the game, that the difficulty was actually adaptive to how you play the game. Did you know
I,
that? Yeah.
I was
I knew basically that there were certain enemies that would appear more frequently if you were doing well, and would be less. Chainsaw Man would appear less if you're not doing quite as well.
Yes.
For example.
Yes.
well, I mean, I was not aware of that, so I don't know
So when you
how
beat the
that
game,
affected my
you
playthrough.
Skill issue.
so when you play through the game and unlock like the professional mode, what the professional mode actually is, it's just that adaptive difficulty just ramped all the way up to max.
So it's not adaptive; it's just hard.
Yeah.
Well, normal is, but that's just 11.
See, I knew there was
for all
like
the,
when you beat the game, you can unlock a high. So I just assumed the regular difficulty was just like static.
No.
I think if you're shotgunning through the game, pardon the pun, it will sort of throw things at you to make you a little bit more
Oh.
cautious.
So-
I like that.
The
Yeah,
AI.
Well, I think
yeah.
we should point out that me, Kyle, and Erik played through the game somewhat sedate compared to Johan. So maybe they would know more about like the difficulty if they were just shotgunning their way through.
I mean,
Yeah, when you beat your last one through in like 3 hours, something like that.
I did it on hardcore, but thing is, when you play when you finish on hardcore the first time, you unlock like a laser gun that like it charges
so you
up.
cheated.
But it when it loads up and shoots, everything that's in your like vision field, it hits.
Everything.
It's like getting the Mega Buster in Dead Rising.
Yeah, so basically, I finished the game on hardcore. I finished it in, what was it, 4 hours?
Wow.
I played it 4 times. I played it 2 times on normal, and 2 times on hardcore.
Hence why you're hosting the episode and not any of us.
Yeah, hosting in a loose sense.
Yeah, let's go back to the plot, shall we?
I was just going to talk about what we're talking gameplay-wise. The AI is pretty good on those enemies, in my opinion.
Oh yeah, they duck, dodge, and dives all across.
Oh yeah, they do like this weird like Neo dodge thing, but like in
Yeah.
like slow motion somehow. Yeah,
They do, and it really fucked me off sometimes.
And then the whole do we call that adaptive as well? The whole thing, like you can shoot them in the knee, they'll go down a bit, and then you can like hurt them that way.
I think that's just
Shoot them in the head, and they stagger towards you. I love that shit. That was great.
And then they kick them.
And then the head explodes, and
They have that weird that blade thing. That's not really a viable strategy if they got a fucking weapon attached to their bonnet. It's not great.
the whole thing also that they throw things at you, you can shoot them out of the air.
Or
Like, when
knife
they
them out of the air.
Yeah, or the
Yeah.
knife them out of the air.
Jesus.
Fucking dynamite.
Okay, humble brag.
Did not like that. I think you can shoot them. You can shoot like the axes out of the sky and crossbow bolts as well, which is quite
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
a lot of the time I was just doing that by accident because they happened to shoot at the same time. I was like,
Yeah, I never
oh,
planned to
okay,
do that.
I can
Oh,
do
I
that
meant
now.
That
to
was
do
just
that.
more luck than judgment every time. Absolutely.
Okay, so story-wise, you take control of a character from Leon. What were you, Leon, in the
At the
third?
second.
Resident Evil 2?
Two?
Yes.
Yes, 2, because in the first one you were Claire or
Yeah.
Jill.
This game. So yeah, I think both discs
Yeah.
had different characters that you can play. I'm not sure if the games vary differently because I didn't play a whole lot of 2 to explore that, to be honest. But I know they had 2 different characters in that game.
But anyway, Leon S. Kennedy who survived a zombie outbreak, and now he works for the president. And he is sent to, well, I don't know if they ever say that it's Spain in the original.
So here's the interesting thing. So after you beat the game, you unlock like a side story where you play as another character. And in the intro cutscene there, it actually points out Spain on the map.
Did it?
That's
Okay,
how
I must
Wikipedia
admit, because
says Spain as
but
well.
do they actually say the word Spain at any point?
No,
in the
never.
remake they do.
Okay.
Wikipedia
If I
says
remember,
Spain,
yeah.
therefore it's in Spain.
Well, they say Europe and they're speaking Spanish.
Well, yeah, so
They're
by
speaking Americanized Spanish.
narrowing it down,
Is
I think
it?
we can say it's Spain.
is
Yeah,
it,
they
is
actually
it,
speak with
like
an American
Mexican?
accent. Yeah.
Ah, okay.
Howdy.
El Howdy.
Texas. Anyway, yes, President's daughter has been kidnapped, and he's sent to find her in
Are you a bad enough dude to save the president's daughter?
exactly, and he is sent then into rural Spain to find and
Very
then,
rural Spain.
very rural Spain. Well, that's how Spain is.
It wasn't downtown Madrid, I know that.
It's 2 miles from Madrid. Yeah.
Basically,
But I think it's like I think it's like a northern region, like mountainous. It said, I think vaguely.
yeah, but
I
They
don't know
all-
what area
all
of Spain
the-
that is.
all the villages look like they're from the 40s. Like
1440s.
1440s. But yes, and then very strange things happen. They're not zombies this time, but yeah.
There's something.
Well, I mean, for
Right,
all
Wait,
intents and
were there
purposes-
zombies in the original either? Really?
Well,
Like,
Well, they were dead and came
what
back to
definition
life,
are we
so-
talking here?
well, they're the definition of that they die and come back and bite you, and then you become one.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty textbook zombie definition.
it's
But in this
based-
game, it's
yeah.
the same thing. I don't know. They're still alive when they get infected by the.
Yeah,
the
I don't know if
Yeah.
Plagas.
they can't.
Well, because in
I
this
don't know
one-
if there's how they infect other people is the same way either.
Well, there's a
not
bunch
really,
in the original games. We have a bunch of different viruses. Grew up the T virus, the
G virus.
A bunch of biohazards,
Yeah.
if you will.
The
Ah.
Veronica virus.
Well,
So
this
this is
one,
ba-
it's
this
a
is-
parasite. Yeah.
Coronavirus.
That's what all sorts.
Los Conus.
Basically, I don't know how to continue because you go back and forth from them. It's basically
So
Find the
Yeah,
president's-
Leon meets like some random guy in the shack who turns not very
happens.
friendly and tries to kind of yoink Leon's head off.
yeah.
and then it all just sort of devolves from there. Probably the biggest kind of like wow thing is going into that village area for the first time and just being
Yes.
completely bombarded with all kinds of horrible shit
I-
coming towards you.
Well,
I
yeah,
don't know if
all the areas all the areas. I mean, like one area before you get there is more of just a sort of very gentle introduction
Yeah.
to. Okay,
Yeah.
this is how you.
Yeah, you save
deal
a dog
with...
from a bear trap. You run into a laser mine like I did.
you
It's fun.
you,
Oh, wow.
you lose your 2 companions,
Yeah,
Those guys were great.
the police.
I thought, I got like 2 snarky sidekicks. I'm glad they're gonna stick around for a while. Then they get eaten up a cliff.
Nickname the Expendables.
Well,
Yeah.
do you ever see the second one? You never see
Yeah.
his body, do you?
Yeah,
No,
it's
yeah,
the
he's
fish
on the-
thing.
No, but I mean, like, okay, I thought that was
the guy going for a piss, or
I thought that was the guy that they burn in the village square.
No, I don't think so.
they'd have to
No.
overtake you with his corpse to do that. That's very impressive. You heat the fire for him to get there, and
Because-
then chuck him in.
These
Because
villagers
the
are hardcore. Then if
The
they're
car
just doing
goes
that.
down into the like the valley, or what do you want to call
The
it?
valleys.
Ravine, the valley.
No,
so
Wales.
I was just wondering.
No, the
like,
car's gone down the valley.
Valley. I don't know if mine glitched. I think the 2 times I played on normal. What's his face with the chainsaw? He has a name. Doctor.
Doctor something.
Something.
I thought that was one person who kept like a recurring character. Apparently, he's not, as I found out later on.
Doctor
But that
Salazar.
we'll
No, what's
get
his
to.
name?
No,
Dr.
that-
Salvador.
But there's more than
Salvador.
one chainsaw person, so it can't be. They all have the same name.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
all,
Well,
you know.
they've all got names that technically all the kind of the different
Yeah.
types of people, like Don something and Don something else.
Yeah,
they've all
yeah.
got different names, but they're all like one person, but they've got like different
Oh.
copies of themselves.
It's
because
like a rank.
Yeah,
there's
but mine,
limitations.
I think mine must have glitched because he never showed up.
He only shows up if you go into the house and you
But I did!
cutscene. Oh,
I saw him.
Well, you
in
didn't-
the
you didn't
game
go in
3
hard
times
enough.
for the
I
entire
did.
game.
I went into the house, took the shotgun, and then I could hear him. Like I could hear him somewhere on the map.
I think there's another one that shows up if you try and leave the area like the way you're supposed to go immediately. You get cut
Oh.
off.
Or
I
because
didn't see him at
I
all.
could hear the chainsaw, and then I just walked around and killed them until the the cutscene triggers.
They were
Some guy
invisible.
going "Rrrr" in the
Yeah.
background, like in the Simpsons movie.
Yeah, it was like he was in the walls of the map. So I couldn't where the fuck is this man?
Well, so
Oh
the
my God,
encounter
he's in the
music's still
walls.
playing.
Yeah,
But
weird.
Yeah, I
you
hated
didn't,
that.
you didn't
on
kill
these
him then.
segments. I had to just hide in
He's
the
still
shed
out
and
there.
just pray and
Well, it
hope.
was kind
I
of
had
a
no ammo
cheat
left.
code in a way where you know there's someone still there if you can hear the dramatic music.
Yeah.
It kind of kills the tension of, oh, I wonder if there's someone here. I can hear them. I can hear the music. I know they're here.
At the start of the game, you've got fuck all really. You've got like very little ammo and you can just
Yeah.
kind of wing your way around. So I had to just hide in a shed and just shoot at what came through the door and just
That's
hope for the
a
best.
strategy.
I'm just
I was a
picturing.
coward for most of this
I'm
game.
just-
I was terrible at it.
And as well the NPC or the enemies where they actually come through every window door and everything, put up the ladders so you can knock down ladders and
I did that a lot. That's quite fun.
yeah.
I
Where
just
you
like
go?
wait for him to be on the top rung of the
You
ladder
have
and then
to-
shoot
yeah.
him down. That was fun.
I did that quite a lot for the later
does
game
gi-
as well.
game gives you plenty of ways to defend yourself. It's not that. It's definitely not stingy in that sense.
There's no ammo to work with, so I'm glad it's going to
Well-
be something to defend myself with.
Well,
I think
used
the
knife a
idea
lot.
is you're supposed to not.
I didn't utilize the knife a lot until later on when I
Yeah,
realized what the
basically.
optimum strats were to actually
Yeah.
knock someone down, knife on the floor, or kick, then knife, then repeat. That was like I had to learn that after a bit of time, but I didn't really know what I was doing beforehand. I was just going for headshots and just trying to kill them at the time because that's how I play most games.
This is Resident
Once I
Evil.
learned the trick is to get them down, then do the old knifey job, and then
Yeah.
just that's when I started to kind of really get into the optimum
Yeah,
kind of
there's
strategy for
a
to keep
fine
myself safe.
balance of where you use the ammo, you use the resources you're given, but you still need to have some left over for future
yeah.
encounters. You have
You try
to
Yeah.
work out like, is this going to be worth using the shotgun, for instance, or
Um,
am I better
yeah.
off saving it for if it's a harder fight later?
Yeah, because at certain points I was running really dry on ammo for a long time, and that caused me a lot of headaches.
I use the upgrade system because, well, like, we can jump a bit. Later you meet, where you could purchase weaponry and upgrade your weapons.
What are you buying?
But one of
What
the
are you
upgrades,
selling?
one of the upgrades is how much ammo your weapon can have. And when you buy that
Yeah.
upgrade, your gun auto fills to the highest.
Oh.
I learned that way at the end.
So
I was just getting firepower for
Okay, because I was like tactically like, okay, I need this amount because then I'll at least have like 20 butt shots.
I mean, I wasn't mid-managing it like you were. Because I was just...
Yeah.
If I have the money to upgrade, I'll
Fight
upgrade.
when I realised I could do that. I got like all the striker like upgrades, and I thought, I've got 100 rounds out of nowhere. Oh wait, I've got upgraded now. Never mind.
Oh yeah,
it was part of my plan.
I survived with that the rest of the game.
Yeah, I didn't know about that for a long time. All I was doing was just buying firepower fire-ups, which helped a little bit, to be honest, but it wasn't easy. I was still running low on most things at that point. You don't really have a pistol and a shotgun at that point. You haven't got any TMP to use. You haven't got
that first like big encounter at the village is kind of a what's the word?
It was the one after the village, after you meet the merchant, and then you go into that big kind of
the
that fucked me up.
Really?
I had the sniper rifle, so I survived a lot.
Yeah, that helps.
I ran out of ammo many times. I keep going back to the merchant and just trying to cover. Why doesn't he sell ammo?
Please help! Oh, that's a gameplay thing. Yeah, you can't buy ammo from you can.
He should sell like limited amounts of ammo just to give me a hand, but he does nothing.
Does it do that
Really
in the remake?
Annoying.
No, but you get they've added from I don't know if the other remakes for 2, 3 or whatever. They have a new item called gunpowder that you can like they have in the old like ones where you can actually make ammo.
Oh, so you can craft things.
You could craft ammo, yeah. Because you could do that in 3 at least. I think you could craft ammo from.
Yeah.
Remake, I assume, not
no, the original, if I remember correctly.
Really? Oh, you know what? I think you might be right from what I recall about that game. Yeah, there's some mechanic like that from what I can remember.
Because in
go ahead.
I was going to say, because then, if you compare 4 to the other Resident Evils, 4 tends to be a bit more, at least from what I've seen, it's more forgiving in terms of like the survival horrors. Because we played at Halloween, we played Alien Isolation, and we described that as like this is like one of the older survival horror games in terms of style. I think Resident Evil 4 Resident Evil 4 kind of was the game that moved away from that style initially.
Like
back to it again for Alien Isolation.
In the old Resident Evil games, you there was a limit on how many saves you had because that was
I was going to bring that up. Yeah,
that was an actual resource. Increments. You had to get that in order to save.
I'm glad that they got rid of that technique. I'm still not a fan of having to find like a save point to go and save. I know the game has checkpoints
that's
to get
fine.
as well, which are helpful.
I was playing and then I forgot. I thought I had saved, but then when I reset, oh shit, it was a checkpoint. So then I had to go back to where I would save the last time. I got so angry.
I saved a lot. I got like 100+ saves during my first playthrough. I was not taking any chances whatsoever because I knew that I'd be stuck otherwise. Go like a long point without getting to a save point because this game can be quite like at the start they're quite kind of far apart, the checkpoints. I mean the save points.
Yeah.
And they get more and more frequent the more that you do. It seems a little bit backwards to me. I thought you'd be more spread out the further you get into the game because you're better stocked, but no.
There were basically certain points when playing the game. It was like I felt like an entire like half an hour or 45-minute section without saving.
And then you're back to where you were. I stopped playing for a bit at that point. During that second open area, I actually turned the game off and didn't play it for like 3 or 4 days at that point because I was just like, I don't know if I can play through this without killing myself. I really, I couldn't deal with it.
So,
I thought I'm gonna bite my tongue and naturally just go ahead and deal with it. And eventually, it did get better. But the first like 2 hours, 3 hours, I was not having a good time with it. Believe me.
So by the time
is that down to just not knowing the game, or was that because you didn't think the game helped you enough?
I was playing the game wrong. I'll admit that I was trying to like kill everything, and I was trying to do all the.
I don't know if you can necessarily like hang that over the game if it's just a case of that's just a learning process.
Yeah, I wasn't playing the game the way that the game wanted me to play it. I was trying to play it in a way that didn't really suit what I had on me at the time, kind of equipment wise. Once you get the TMP and the shotguns that are bigger, you can just go and just blast everything.
I never actually used the TMP, to be honest.
I used it in select situations.
I thought it seemed counterintuitive to use a rapid fire weapon in a survival horror game, but
it's got ammo that's only for the TMP, so there's no point not using it.
I was just selling that stuff because I thought I'm not going to use this.
Yeah, there's certain points where you're getting like swamped with things, like the later minecart section. I use it quite a lot in.
Okay, I suppose it would be useful there.
Yeah, but yeah, Without having that at the time, though, I had to kind of learn to sort of be more reserved with how I did things, and that set me back a little bit. But eventually, I managed to kind of get over that and realize, the game plays this way instead, and then that kind of helped me get past that little hiccup earlier.
So we should maybe mention that this game is sort of sectioned into chapters and sub-chapters. The first 2 big chapters are set in the village. So at some point you get knocked out and you see a cousin of Leon being injected with something.
Yeah, the ticking clock kind of thing. Yeah.
And then you also lose Leon's sweet jacket, which I'm pretty sad about.
But did you
the real
before or
casualty?
after you fight the big fish boy?
That's before.
Yeah, before. What?
Oh yeah.
Because by the time Big Fish Boy happened.
But Erik,
Is that when you see Mendez for the first time?
Yeah.
Yes.
Did
you see what happened to the jacket?
Yeah, that was after the fish thing.
You see what happened to the jacket when you play the extra level?
I never got to that point, but I know what you're referencing.
Some Zambo has it on.
Okay. So yeah, as Erik said, it's divided into sections. You get knocked out, you get injected, and you also.
Well, you see the cutscene, but Leon still kind of thinks, did that actually happen? Is a bit unsure.
And then he also, when does he find out that she is injected as well?
That's way later.
Isn't that when Mendes says that?
Might be, or is that a Sadler thing to me?
Well, one or the other. I get them mixed up, to be honest.
But because with the first Victorious Mendes is basically the big village chief and the first sort of sub-boss you meet. And he basically just says, you have the same blood running through your veins.
Yeah.
Far more intimidating than Sadler is. They chose the wrong guy to make the head honcho, I think. He's far more imposing.
Yeah.
Well,
he really is. Like, he's scared.
He's just like the muscle. Sadler's more like the mastermind.
Yeah.
This game... He's not intimidating, though.
But yeah, a fish boy, which is a giant... Is it a crocodile or salamander? Or what's it supposed to be?
It's a big thing with a big mouth.
A big fish.
So that's the first boss where you're on a lake and you get pulled around there. Then there's multiple bosses.
Is that the...
Yeah.
Is that the first boss?
Is that before or after El Gigante?
Oh god, no.
The giant cave troll. I forgot cave trolls. Yeah.
They got the cave troll.
How could you forget?
But mentioned the side characters too. We're going to hard ourselves like Louise and Ada and stuff. We kind of jumped a lot of that.
It's very hard I forget loads of the sections how they come.
Lewis is sort of, he turns up
a lot later,
every once in a while, and then he just like there's a bit with Lewis like one way he dies, but it's like zero like resonance because you only see him for like 10 minutes or like a 3-hour session of the game, and it's like I don't really feel
you need to pick up a lot of the like cliff notes and stuff and read.
Even then, it's
but that's not really that's not getting to know the character like
no,
from
that's
the protagonist's point of view.
In the remake, they have a lot more scenes with him.
He does cool. He turns up and then does something mysterious and then leaves and then does that like 4 or 5 times.
Yeah, but he's a doctor, isn't he? He's working for.
It was the what do they call them? The group that
Los Iluminados.
Yeah, it was like brought on as like to research or something along those lines. But then he realised what they were doing and thought, I don't want to be part of this. We
actually basically jumped over the whole thing of the town. Yes, they have a parasite, but they're being run by a cult. Did we say that or not?
No, they're being led by...
Keep up, Johan. You gotta...
They're all being led by...
the entire episode.
By a cult leader called Lord Sadler, who has a stranglehold on the region.
Yeah.
So we don't even realize what the nature of the parasites are.
We only came to Spain just to get the daughter. We didn't even know anything about this. Is all stuff we find out while we're there.
So we find out the true the horror of the Las Plagas, as they call during nighttime. When the villagers' head just starts exploding in a big tentacle.
That's very normal. That's normal in Spain.
Yeah, that's just after the big fish boy fight. Yeah, that's really unpleasant. I mean, it's part of my point where I don't like shooting folks in the head and they actually stagger towards me. No, you should stagger away from being shot in the face so I can keep a distance from you.
There's always that thing as well when they're staggering, is like, will something come out? Or like later in the game when they actually, start sprouting shit from their heads. You shoot it up in the head and they walk a little bit, and then sometimes something pops out.
They are mega spongy in this game as well. I found that quite frustrating.
Did you guys learn the little trick with if you use the flashbang while the parasite is out, they instantly die?
Yes.
I think I might have done that accidentally a bunch of
I
times.
didn't use a lot of flash grenades. Maybe I should have, to be honest.
You shoot open their heads, and then while the squiggly thing is wobbling, you just throw a flash.
I use a lot of flash grenades just when there was a lot of people around me. I thought, okay, this will give me some free time to.
I ended up at the end of the game. I had like 12 grenades I never used. So I was like, oh,
bloody hell.
I use the incendiary grenades for like crowd control during certain points. So the actual frag grenades.
Oh, we're jumping ahead a bit, but there's an enemy later that uses a shield that's useful for grenades because obviously shooting is not as.
Him that we'll get
anyway, so
after that you then fight El Gigante, or as I put in my notes, Roid Shrek.
Roid Shrek.
Go explain.
He's a big fucking unit.
But
okay.
He's not green.
He scared the shit out of me. I had to take pot shots and then run into a corner and then wield with a cover and then try and find some space.
Yeah, I know. I didn't have that kind of struggle.
Did you?
Sure.
By the way, did you know if you don't help the dog, the dog doesn't help you in the first fight with El Gigante?
Well, that's I would have guessed that based on the fact that the dog would not be there.
Hey,
I thought he would just kick the dog and launch it across all the way to back to Raccoon City, but he didn't touch the dog. Like a woof, and the way it goes, but it never happens.
I'm assuming we all decided to actually help a dog.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, of course.
The thing is, I almost didn't because I played the first game and know what dogs were like in that game, and I thought this is a bad idea.
That's a good point.
So
actually.
I thought, you know what, I'm not gonna do what I want to do because that's me going down a dark route. So I saved the dog against my better nature.
Because it'd be, I think it's after that.
With, like the birds and stuff. I thought they're going to attack me. These crows. They do that in the first game.
Yeah,
as
they
well.
do it in the first one. Yeah.
I was shooting crows in Metal Gear Solid as well. I don't like birds apparently.
I think it's after that. Is it after? At some point after the first boss fight where you start running into the dogs that have the.
You mean after El Gigante when you come back to the church, then the dogs show up.
Oh, I fucking hated those things.
They scared the ever-loving shit out of me because they entered loading to the new area and they were right there in front of me.
It's because they flank you and because of the way the controls are, it's not easy to get a fix on them.
Yeah, and they're doing their best, the Thing interpretation.
Yeah.
They don't know I'm the Thing.
Bunch of.
It's because it's a darkened area. It's a bit of like fog from the church. And just
it's like, this is a survival horror game.
Staring at you through the fog, and it's like, I don't like this very much.
So anyway, then you save her for the first time.
You go and do that light puzzle in the church. That's so easy. It's almost trivial.
Should we mention the puzzles?
Like all Resident Evil, there's puzzles, but they're very simplistic in this one.
They are. I did that. I don't think I have trouble with the single
That's one thing I knew about Resident Evil before playing them is they have these like puzzle sections.
There's one that I didn't like, but I'll get to it later.
I think I know which one it is. Anyway, so
I think I know what it is as well.
You save her, then you run into the village again.
So you get like the escort tutorial.
Yeah.
My first thought was, oh no, escort game.
Yeah,
I thought this is gonna be the whole game. I'm gonna hate this. But she's actually surprisingly well behaved.
There's not many situations where it's a problem, to be honest.
I only killed her once by mistake when I tried to like knife a crane. She stood in the way and got a knife in the leg.
I actually because one of the gameplay things is that they can take her, carry her, and when they get to the end of the map, when they like transfer to the next map, you fail.
Yeah. That happened to me once in the entire game.
But
I thought, where the hell is she gone? Oh, teleported away. Never mind.
Yeah, so I was gonna snipe the guy carrying her, but then I shot her in mistake.
Oh Jesus!
So there's some mitigating factors having Ashley around. For one, you can hide her in dumpsters, select areas, which helps.
I did that a lot.
Oh,
that'll be at later points in the game. That was invaluable to me.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So and you can make her stand still, and you can go off and do things. And you can summon her back.
I knew about it. I thought, well, if I hide her in a dumpster, will they find her at some point? If I'm at the other side of the map, I won't be able to get her back.
The entire point of hiding her, wouldn't it? They can easily find her.
I don't know if
it's not exactly a simple hiding space. I'm sure that someone could work out. Oh, she's probably in there.
The dumpsters are all Plagas proof. It's fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
They don't understand how dumpsters work.
I know because I've played other games where that would not work.
At this point in the game, you start getting better weapons. At this point in the game, you get the Red 9 pistol that became my best friend for the entire.
I never got that pistol actually.
It came with like a stock, so you get like a better accuracy with it, which was really useful. To me. So
That's one thing about the shooting. For some reason, Leon can't hold an aim to save his ass.
Jittery man, too much caffeine. Yeah, the shaky hands when controlling the guns is not useful.
Yeah.
But I mean, it depends what you're using. I mean, the if you're using the pistol, obviously, because that's because it's. I mean, I wouldn't expect that to be accurate anyway. So I didn't mind it that much.
I used it for a lot of long range stuff before I got the rifle because it was either that or using the
This-
shotgun, which
yeah.
obviously no.
This
isn't gonna
game
work.
helps. The laser actually helps a lot, which they don't have in the remake. They don't
What?
have the
Is
laser
there like a
sight.
crosshair instead? Is there?
Yeah, you can
Okay,
buy
well,
a
Okay,
laser
then,
sight. You
if
can
it's,
buy
it
it.
has to be something, surely.
The crosshair
Yeah.
mitigates a laser need in the first
Yeah.
place. The game has no crosshair.
Yeah, but
so that's what they have
having
to
a laser is
use.
kind of more immersive, you would argue, because it's something that
I'd argue
exists.
it's worse for fine aiming because you can't really see it until you're actually on
Yeah.
the thing itself
Yeah.
you're aiming
Yeah.
for.
Yeah, it was.
Trying to
I
shoot
was
those
having.
medallions down in the first part of the game. I couldn't hit them I couldn't at all. I was like, okay,
There's-
missed it.
I had sometimes problems, with the depth, like knowing where exactly I was aiming, like with the laser.
What can you shoot before it like clips
Yeah.
through a wall or hits like an invisible like barrier somewhere and stuff like that? I had that a few times as well.
So anyway, then
Thanks.
you
There's
have a lot
cabin sequence.
fight where they attack in droves and hordes.
That's
and hordes.
that's actually pretty interesting because you basically have to like flank all the. You have to go to the window, take out all the enemies, and Louis is there helping you.
I don't know. I just stood in the corner, and then I can see everyone.
Yeah, I stood in the doorway and this shot ever came up the stairs with my shotgun, so it made it very easy for me to do, to be honest.
Because
but then,
Lewis does a lot of the hard work for you there as well, so that's a good
Oh,
way
yeah.
to just save on your own ammo. It's like, you can
I-
It's
do
got
this.
infinite ammo, so
yeah, I don't think he can die in that section either.
if he could, it would be infuriating. So I'm glad they didn't do that.
I don't think he can die.
It must take.
He hasn't got a health bar, so
It must have to take because I was letting him do a lot of work.
Yeah.
no yellow herbs for you, I'm afraid. Sorry.
But after that, you walk around a little bit more, and then you get to the new section, which is is it just called the castle?
Yeah, the castle section.
That's a bit ahead. You
And
got
that's
those two
the-
chainsaw ladies first.
Yeah, and then
which is,
the tram, not the tram, the
cable
car.
car sequence.
The cable
I
car.
didn't enjoy that.
It's not that important, and
I was shooting all the things on the platforms to the left, not knowing that they were coming up on the other side of the cable car as well. So I got a few axes to the face for not really seeing them to begin with.
Skill issue.
So,
what's going on? But if you want to say that, then yes, after the cable car, you also fight Big Chief.
Yeah, the boss. Yeah, the big boss
Mendes.
fight. You went
Oh,
straight past that.
Yeah.
genuinely disturbing, that fight. Maybe the best boss battle in the game, I think.
He
It
does.
looks
He
good.
does
Yeah.
segment his
up there,
entire upper
yeah.
body.
He's got the most like terrifying transformation of anyone else, which is kind of odd for like a middle of the game kind of
Yeah.
boss. But yeah, it's very small space, not a lot of space to move around in, and he's got this really creepy second form where he clings onto the ceiling and starts
like a
like grabbing you from the sky.
Centipede spine thing going on.
Yeah.
Like I looked him down and thought, it's over. Then he separated from his legs and just grabbed onto the rest. Like, oh shit, no,
Toolbox.
I don't like this very much.
This is not my final form.
There's not many of the fights in the game have two phases, so it kind of caught me off guard, to be honest.
Yeah.
Didn't
No,
expect
they
that.
just take a lot of hits.
Actually, we have dodged a very important game mechanic here. So this game is pretty heavy on the QTEs.
Oh,
In certain
yeah,
sections.
Yeah.
very tight
I mean, we
QTEs
went past
too,
it
might
because
add.
QTEs don't add anything to gameplay whatsoever.
It's like you forget you're watching it, like you think you're just watching a cutscene, and then oh shit.
Yeah, it's trying to avoid
There's
like
one part very late that we need to talk about that was very annoying.
cursor.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll come to that later.
yeah. Anyway, so you kill
Like, yeah,
him.
the QTEs, like I know that came from a certain point in time where games were doing that. You know, it's just game the same year as God of War came out, and that game is also quite heavily QTE inspired. So it's a product of its time, unfortunately.
They don't have it in the remake. I can say that.
Good.
So they knew it. They knew it was bad.
It's just so noticeable that if you fail a QTE and die and then try to do it again, they're liable to change up the QTE.
Yeah, it's not the same.
Oh,
Oh, I
it's
hate
only
that.
the same. It's only two different button combinations they
Yeah.
use, so it's not really that.
What is
much
it?
more
It's the
difficult. Well,
triggers.
apart from
Yeah, but I don't like it
triggers
when
A and X or it's mash the X button
when
to
it's-
avoid like rolling boulders. Like
Yeah.
I won't mind QT as much if at least they were consistent. And okay, whenever I need to dodge, I'll press like the dodge button. But when you just make it any random button,
often I'll put
that's
the
just being
control down
obnoxious.
during cutscenes, and then it will sort of shit, grab the controller again, and I'm
Yeah.
already dead by that point, and back to where I was again from the start. So yeah, that's always fun. Did you guys get hit by the truck trying to get into the castle?
No, because I
No.
knew what was gonna happen anyway.
So
I
the-
did.
So I I was trying to run into the nook after shooting it. I didn't realize
I
that was
did
all I
that
supposed
as
to do.
There's a little kind of like alcove thing to the right. It's not big enough for you, but it looks big enough from an angle. And then it yeeted me into oblivion. Which was great.
By the way, in that section when you're just getting up to the castle, like after the truck, if you just keep looking at the door, the enemies don't spawn that like when you're walking up after the truck's crashed. Because I tried it, because if you just keep looking at the door and back the entire way, they'll never spawn. But then if you turn around directly, because it's like 6 enemies that spawn.
They're based on your vision.
Way to ruin the immersion.
So I tried that.
Meant to induce panic so you run into the castle quicker. That's the whole point.
So then you get to the castle, which is the home of one of the best characters in Resident Evil history.
Yep,
in my
the
opinion.
semi-automatic rifle.
Kennedy.
Oh. You get the semi-automatic rifle at this point in the game as well. My go-to favorite weapon.
What you get, you get to buy it.
Well, you know what I mean.
That's a high price.
You can get now. But yeah, like that gun saved my life so many times and made the castle a lot easier to handle.
But what's your opinion about Ramon Salazar?
Oh, the wee laddie.
The wee lad!
He's just a fun little guy.
I found him very, very annoying, but I'm guessing that's kind of the point, to be honest.
Mr. Kennedy.
He's a wee cutie.
Yeah.
It is at this point that so Leon has like a mission command that he sort of reports back to, and then the Illuminados sort of hack into the feed, and which is the point where they start like interact directly.
It's like randomly call you up and be like, "You smell."
You can hack government communications.
That's basically the height of. That's basically their banter is not very good, but they say it with such confidence.
What's his
title?
Leon has some really like cringy one-liners.
We missed out the bingo line, didn't we? We didn't even mention bingo.
Fuck. What's Ramon's title? He's like the something of the castle.
The Spanish man.
And he has a funny little triangle hat, but in the remake they removed it, and then people made a mod so you can actually have it on him again.
The important things. Sure.
Why did the hat off? That's a very odd thing to.
He has like
character.
In the remake. He has like very. He looks like he has a powdered wig.
He had that in the first game, didn't he? As well?
Did he?
I think that's his actual hair.
Yeah.
Oh, he's a wee laddie.
In the remake, he does look more haggard, though.
I don't think. I think he's supposed to be an adult, but just like short.
Oh yeah,
I think he's supposed to be a kid.
He's
not in my head canon. He's not. He had those temper tantrums later on. No, he's not.
Adults can throw temper tantrums.
No, they can't.
Isn't the thing like he's supposed to be short because of like royalty in Europe and incestuous? All the royals are. I thought that was the thing.
I think
he's not short. He's shrunken.
I think it was like a side effect of the specific Las Plagas he has in his body or something.
Oh,
Plagas hits differently.
So you mean he wasn't always like when he got the Las Plagas, then he turned short. He was like
maybe he got it as a kid and then just never grew up as a result.
It's implied in the backstory that Lord Sadler came to the village like a couple of years earlier and introduced the Plagas to the community.
Yeah.
And that Salazar
Sadler's witnesses.
Salazar is basically all bought in on this whole like world religion thing. So he's
no, but his family before that actually, the longer you go, like the family actually protected against Los Illuminati, and he like turned for some goddamn reason. Yeah, he's like, fuck my family, I'm gonna help Sadler take over the world.
Yeah,
this castle has some things going on. This is why I think you first see the crossbow guys for the first time.
Yeah, a bunch of cultists now instead of
the crossbow men are not my idea of a good time because I can't see where they're shooting from, and they often get one over on you when you can't see what's going on.
I like the art style though. I like how they look like cultists.
Also have like catapult people who launch things at you.
Because they don't have the things come out of their heads as often.
Yeah.
And then you see the shield guys as well, which are
they just shotgun them to.
Just shotgun, use the magnum.
The shotgun was my best friend for those guys. One blast tended to destroy the entire thing, then it was just back to using the pistol.
There's nothing that feels as good as like when you aim through the shields and you actually break through the shield and hit them in the head at the same time.
And it conserves ammo, so win-win in that situation. And you see those odd blind fuckers as well in the dungeon area.
So basically, here in this big ass castle now, you lose Ashley once again.
I think at some point earlier in this, you meet up with the big claw guy for the first time.
Yeah,
Don't
the
you?
blind guy.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
guy.
Oh,
is
you
very
mean
intense.
like the BDSM kind of claw guy?
It's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
it's kind of thing you'd see in like the Saw franchise, that kind of
Yeah, a
setup.
big buff blind
Yeah.
guy that
Aldi Wolverine.
I like.
Yeah.
I like the gameplay of that guy. Like,
Yeah, to distract him with the belt.
Yeah.
I
and
like
such.
it in the room that's big and carved in this nice distraction.
Yeah,
Later
yeah.
on, that becomes we'll get to that later. But
Yes.
But yeah, they're an interesting little mechanic. I'm glad they're not like abundant. To be honest, that'd be annoying otherwise.
So,
Yeah.
bunch of small puzzles. You lose Ashley.
Then you go into the sewer section, the favorite part
Yeah.
in the end of the game, where you meet
But
my
I
favorite
can't,
new
I can't
enemy.
believe it's not the Xenomorph.
but did we go did we go past the Ashley part where you get to play as her and like try to
No,
escape?
that's later
That-
on.
that-
We
that's
have not
way
got
later.
there yet.
Oh, I
That's
thought,
way
I thought
later.
the sewer
That's tail end of the castle.
Yeah, that's near my favorite puzzle in the entire game.
Oh,
So,
so is the puzzle I'm thinking.
Yeah.
So at this point, you meet the Novistadors, the invisible bug things.
Well, they're part of the last Plagas, aren't they?
How did this
To some
happen?
descript.
Like
don't
I
know.
can sort of suspend my disbelief that the humans are infected with sort of otherworldly like.
What do you infect to make a giant insect?
Yeah, exactly.
No, it'll be a regular insect that just gets really big.
No,
I
maybe.
really like how they're like invisible.
I don't.
That's the first part.
No,
Thankfully, they're only in that one section of the game, and then they never reappear again at that
Yeah.
point. Which is, I thought it'd be like a recurring enemy going
Well,
forward.
they
And
are
I thought,
recurring.
shit.
There are
Yeah.
a few later.
there are a
but
few
that-
times they
that's-
show up again.
Is there?
Yeah.
There's a big nest thing. Remember? After Ashley gets
The
kidnapped.
cat-
the
yeah,
third
in the
time.
cave.
Are they the same things? Are they?
Yeah.
Look
Yeah,
at it.
they're
I
the ones
think
with
they are.
wings.
Flying things, yeah.
They didn't. They
Did
didn't
we
fly
play
in
the same game?
Well, the invisible things. They didn't like.
Yes, they are the same.
Then let's all fly.
Are you sure about that?
Keep
Yeah.
up.
Yeah.
In the
I didn't see them
remake,
fly in the sewer.
they
But
switch
you
up.
can't- there's not
They're
much
not
space to fly in the sewer.
in the
They
remake.
can
They
fly in
switch.
fucking like corridors and stuff in the later game. I don't think they're the same thing.
They're the same species.
I didn't see them go invisible later on.
They
Um,
don't.
I-
In the remake, they switched
Oh, that's
up.
convenient.
They have.
Almost like they aren't the same species. Yeah.
They don't go invisible in the remake. They're actually more
Not
like
at all.
they're like against walls and they grey out, but you can easily see
Oh,
them.
that's verse.
Yeah, because you can sometimes you actually like what the fuck, and then, but they're not invisible this time. They have like adaptive camouflage kind of thing more, so they look like the color of the wall, or look
So-
like a stone or like anything, and then you can shoot them while they're hibernating.
And then we get
That's
to the
rude.
hedge mage section not far after this, don't we?
Before the hedge mage, I must call out one of my favorite rooms in this entire castle, which is a giant room full of swinging pendulums. What's the point of this room?
The whole castle
I don't know,
designed
it's
by
like-
some
it's like-
absolute.
It's like I was
fruitcake.
doing the fucking that Way of the Warrior challenge from Raven.
Yeah, you will lose a life.
Yeah, weird, but I don't.
It felt very Castlevania-like at that point.
Yeah.
I had no problem with the hedge maze.
I
I just
hated
don't
these
like
dogs.
them.
I mean, I didn't have a problem, but it's just the way that the enemy AI works, where they won't spawn unless you trigger a sync to the point where there's like, I'm like, where's all the dogs? And there's all of a sudden 3 will turn up at once. Like, just let it
I don't
walk
like
in
hedge
that
mazes
specific
in
area.
games at all. Banned hedge mazes from being made in any more games. There's only one decent hedge mage game, and it's Zombies Ate My Neighbors. Everything other hedge maze is terrible.
You heard it here first, developers. You got to work on your hedge
But just
mazes.
hack through the bush. You've got a knife. Just you don't have to follow the maze. Just be your old man for
Where's
once.
the fun in
fuck's
that?
sake. Oh, yeah, that's the important thing.
You have a
Then
knife,
you see-
Leon. Use it.
Well, use it against Ada later in the same part of the map after some weird Matrix shit that they all do.
Oh, yeah, Ada.
Ada
Takes her
Ada.
glasses off and see Leon's like, Ada, like you glasses
She was
off.
wearing
Oh, it's
no.
sunglasses.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell it was you with the sunglasses on. I'm sorry. They do a bit of like backflip and stuff, and it goes all slow mo, and it's like, it's 2005.
But
Love it.
these sections with
Get some
Ada,
new metal turned on. It's all good.
these sections with Ada, that's more connected to the old games, or is it?
Well, I
She
didn't
was
know,
in the
but
second
I'm
one.
assuming she was in a different game at some
They
point.
was-
reference
was-
thing they don't quite understand.
She was in the second game
Yeah.
alongside. That's why Leon knows her.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, so
I didn't know, but I assume the way they were talking is like, okay, you two have met at some point, but I just didn't know where
It doesn't feel like it's key to the plot of the game though, so it's not a
No.
massive detriment to be honest. So I was fine with that.
Do we then get to the thing?
The
I feel like-
little cage.
No, John Carpenter's thing.
This little cage, I have some strong opinions about this thing. I first thought it was some like additional like hard place that I'd entered that I didn't have to go and do on purpose.
That's a good point.
It drops you in out of nowhere, and then you got this fucking blind guy. Plus, you have guys with crossbows shooting at you from the other side of the fence that you can't
Yeah,
get to until you
the
escape.
blind guys are different because when it's just one of them, it's easier to not have to make noise.
They got like fucking like titanium fucking
Because
locks on the
because when you
doors, and they, like, 14 minutes to
use
unlock.
like what a shotgun or something to take out someone, and then the blind guy's like, "Oh, you're over there," and then just rush you from nowhere. That was
Yeah.
a bit more. You had to do a bit more.
That
of
was probably the
juggling.
most genuinely like unfair part of the game. I felt I really didn't like that. I didn't feel like it was like a deserved spike in difficulty. It felt cheap.
So a fun fact: if you keep losing at this part of the game, the claw guy does never spawn after some point.
I only died like twice there, I think. I managed to get the third time by just getting out of the cage
I'm
like
kind of
ASAP.
curious to replay this game because I never noticed any of this adaptive stuff.
Yeah, it's not very. I guess if you're good at the game, you never notice.
Oh yeah, that must be it.
I imagine usually more chainsaw men, the better you're doing in the game. So yeah, that was unfair. So that was great. Then you see the virus that can like jump out of a corpse and start walking towards you at that point as well.
Oh, yeah.
I have a note there. It just says face huggers again.
Again.
Yeah,
They're
they're difficult. They're just fucking annoying.
Yeah, very annoying. I
And
agree
it's like
with
when
you.
they walk right up, then you can't aim low enough to actually shoot them. That's
Yeah.
a bit...
No need for that. But you get a free rocket launch new here though, for no reason. It's just kept in a glass box with a bazooka in it.
the OG
I couldn't.
RPG.
I couldn't carry it. I had the space to carry it.
I'm gonna say, by the way,
But you didn't
The-
take it.
I didn't have space for it.
Oh, skill issue.
I took it. If you play the
I could. I would.
if you play the extra little campaign where you play as Ada, you actually follow what Leon's doing. So you can actually hear Leon shooting around in these sections when you're playing as
Getting
Ada.
shanked by a Wolverine man.
Yeah, and then she's like, I can't, because she's on another mission. It's like, I can't let Leon see me.
That actually, Carl brings up a good point with the inventory. He sort of skipped over how the inventory works in this game.
It's probably
How does
this
it work,
game's most
Johan?
It's ingenious.
It's basically just a giant grid system, and different weapons take up a certain amount of grid. So you have to like try to figure out like, okay, a gun takes up 6, while a health potion
It gives you some level of
Move and rotate
manage-
things.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
you can fit as much as
because
you
if
can
something
into
doesn't
it.
initially fit, you can move some of the things around, and then you can make enough space
It's
for it.
very clever. It might be one of those games like highlights.
Yeah.
In terms
Yeah,
of,
it's fun. It's fun organizing
Yeah.
things.
I mean, you don't start off with much space, but you can buy like bigger
Upgrades,
attacher
yeah.
cases later on. I'm not sure where Leon keeps the attacher cases. Maybe I'm best not knowing.
They also add for the remake. They added that you could actually store things where you're at the save spots.
Ooh.
So you can
That's
actually
interesting.
remove only guns though. You can put guns into storage.
Oh.
So
That's basically out of the old games as well, because you had item
Yeah.
boxes where you can store.
Oh yeah,
items.
and the save rooms. You're right. Yeah,
Yeah.
I forgot that. Absolutely.
I picked up the RPG because
Yeah.
I knew
I didn't have
I
space
knew I
for
would
it.
need that later.
the RPG
I was
being
carrying 4
a
guns and like 17
Yeah.
different herbs. I just didn't have
the
the space for it.
RPG being a one-shot kill weapon.
For everything.
And bosses.
Everything.
Every
Is it
boss.
really?
Yep.
Yes.
Well, including
Okay.
like the last one.
No, because you need to trigger the cutscene. But you could do the
So it'd
damage.
be a
I think.
two-shot kill.
Yeah, because you need to trigger the cutscene and then you get the one.
A different one.
Yeah. But I think
I
if
didn't know that.
I think if you hit him correctly, you will like do all the damage you can to him to trigger that section.
Huh. Interesting.
Because I used mine on Zalazar. I think I used one as well on
I gotta talk about later where I used the
yeah, I
RPG,
think I know
so.
exactly what. But
I did
is
mine
it
the
then?
old-fashioned way.
Is it then the section with her?
Yeah, you
No,
find
well,
you had to
no-
save Ashley from being
Wait,
kidnapped.
we missed out Louis being stabbed by Sadler's like last Pingus.
Oh, right.
Fingers.
That happens right before Ashley, I guess.
Yeah, he's like mutated
'Cause it
dick
was,
stabs Lewis in the back.
You run
and
into him early, and he
goes-
says, "Oh, I need to get this the antidote thing because
Yeah.
you're gonna go all zombie-ish."
But But
And then as soon as he's like, "Oh, I've got it," then he dies immediately.
But as you said, we
What a shame.
barely know fuck all about him anyway, so who cares?
This room, like I spent about 10 minutes trying to find some sort of release mechanism for Ashley's restraints.
Oh yeah, you didn't realize you have to shoot them instead.
Like,
That's
this
a
is
very
sage.
dangerous thing to do.
Yeah, I'm not going to shoot the president's daughter. I'm going to try and find some sort of like release
no,
the
because
straps thing. So
He's
yeah,
got- yeah,
I
mess with
backtracked for a
straps
bit.
as well.
I came back about 15 minutes trying to find some sort of release thing. I shot it out
Did you
of
say
pure
15 or
desperation.
50?
15-ish.
Okay, 50. I was
I
like...
shot the things out of pure desperation and found out that it fucking worked. That was infuriating. Didn't enjoy that. And then you get to the Ashley
Yeah,
sequence.
she
which kind of
escapes.
which caught me off guard, the Ashley sequence.
Yeah.
I didn't expect there to be an actual
Yeah.
playable section.
No,
I didn't like it
I
very much.
remember the moment where like the game transitioned to it, and I made a really large audible groan, thinking, "Oh, this is going to be a really painful part of the
It's-
game."
Have some sort of weapon, right?
It's not.
Right.
She can't fight. She just can run away.
I mean, it was a
torture
much shorter game
it's not
gameplay
that
than I thought it would be. So that's the
Yeah.
one saving grace it
I
had.
felt
but-
like Kevin McAllister trying to escape Hank and Marv at some points.
I was
did not
going to say
enjoy it.
that's the puzzle I dislike with her. It's a sliding puzzle. I
Yeah,
hated
Yeah.
it.
goddamn sliding puzzle.
I think I spent 15 minutes doing this.
Well,
Yeah.
it wasn't so much that it was just because all the puzzles before was somewhat creative
Doable.
in what you actually had to. But then when it gets to the point where game developers are like, "Oh, we need a puzzle for this," so well, fuck it, sliding puzzle, why not?
I'm sure there are some folks out there who love sliding puzzles. I am very much not one of those people.
It's like, you remember in the first Mass Effect game where you have the Towers of Hanoi puzzle turn of all this. It's just come on, guys.
I could never solve that, but you can just buy
We're,
way
be-
out
we're,
of it. and
we're
just
better
use-
than this. We can do
You
better
just press
puzzles than
like
this.
Y and skip this use gel to avoid that one though. You have to actually sit through and do this one though. You can't avoid doing the sliding puzzle.
This
Yeah,
is
that was a-
also-
that was a pain.
and then you beat the sliding puzzle. Then you come across the goddamn armors that come out
Yeah,
after
living
you.
armor.
This
yeah.
confused me because like are they actually like people inside
No,
the suits
that's-
of armor?
That's Plagas.
I know. I just assumed it was.
How can they? But it must have some sort of sentient being inside for it to infect.
Yeah, at
Or
least
does
I'll
this
be honest.
infect,
I didn't
like-
really question it. I thought, oh, there's just like magic or something. I don't know.
It's just like magic or something.
I think
it felt
it's
really out
just
of
big.
place.
I think it's just big parasites inside those armors.
Well,
That's
you know,
what
it's,
my-
is.
it's,
It's parasites.
it's a common what
You
trope.
shoot the head
isn't
off,
it?
and then the parasite then comes out. So it's got a parasite inside the parasite. I'm confused. How does that work?
It's just parasite in the armor.
No. Something like that.
No.
Because
I-
in the back to the remake, in the remake you could see these armors standing still, and I was actually like aiming, looking at it. You could see
Well,
through
I
the.
knew. I was walking past, and I'm thinking, are these are going to do something at some point, surely?
Yeah,
Can I like
events.
preempt it?
Yep.
Yeah, but yeah, so you could actually look into the armor at certain points in the remake. You actually see the Las Plagas
It was
inside.
very suspicious. Like on the way to this object, I've walked past 3 armors.
It's now got a sword high in the air and like
Yeah.
a swiping down
It's like-
motion
it's-
waiting for you.
It's like
Yeah.
you have to go towards it to activate. You can't just like walk around it or do something. It's like,
Yeah.
no, I have to face the danger.
Then you get the spiked ceiling sequence.
Yeah,
Mm,
you escape
yeah.
with her again, and then
There's,
you get to
there's
her.
really obvious like shoot me here lights, which make it
Yeah.
almost trivial as well. To
Well,
not get killed by
I'd
them.
rather that than just I'm stuck here now.
Well, they do it again, but they add like enemies in the room later on, and that becomes a lot more frustrating.
Mm.
But yeah, it's kind of like, oh yeah, boom, bang, 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 and away I go. Then you get that weird.
Well,
like,
I'm pretty sure like Ashley as well says, Leon, shoot at these. So, okay.
Then there's that weird like that digging machine, you know, like
Oh,
Total
yeah, that
Recall
weird
vibe.
Oh,
in the
that guy.
tunnel. Yeah,
Those guys, yeah.
I'm not sure why they have that inside the castle, and like
That-
whatever
that
floor
maybe-
we're on just now.
make grape wine
Just
out of
happened
it.
to have it.
It's a grape wine machine. You throw grapes into it, and
That's some heavy grapes.
then.
Jeez. And this is when you get to the flyy guys. My comment says here, they fly now, they fly now.
Yeah, the same
Yeah.
species.
By the way, that giant like hive comb thing, you could destroy that in the entire thing.
Oh.
I watched my long play and saw the guy do that and got like 7 like eyes
Yeah.
cell out of it, and I was
No,
like,
because
oh,
I-
the game didn't say.
What, do you have to use like the RPG or something? Or
You
just...
could
I
use
didn't
the-
shoot it with it normally.
You could waste a lot of ammo. I used the Mega Blaster thing from hardcore gameplay, and then I just
Oh.
Did you guys use the mine launcher at any point?
No.
because I knew it was
Never.
shite. Because I remember from my original gameplay.
I just thought, like, well, where am I going to find ammo for this? It's probably not going to be. I'm only going to be able to use it a couple of times. I went, no, I'm not wasting
I didn't see
money.
a single mine in the entire game, so I'm not even
Yeah.
sure how that works.
It actually you could also, I don't know if it's original, you could upgrade it, but it shoots like darts, so towards the blind people, you could really like just shoot a giant explosive dart in their back. And
You can get behind them first. That's
Yeah.
probably the most important part.
My good, like, I had the pistol that you get in the castle. And then I had the shotgun, the semi-auto, and then that revolver you get. I think they're the only weapons I ever used after that.
I think you get the riot gun first, and then you get the striker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
on
well,
the
I
other end,
didn't
you
use.
get
I
that.
used the I didn't get the striker.
ah,
The
Oh, the
striker's pretty
striker's
good.
it's a
It's like
game-changer.
it's a big wall of death towards anyone standing in front of you.
it's got a drum
Great.
mag and yeah.
Given the later game throws a lot of shit at you at once, it becomes very much
Okay, well,
invaluable.
maybe I would have benefited from, but I thought, no, I'm sticking with this now.
Maybe. Then you go to the clock tower at that point, right?
Oh, the clock tower section as well. Wait,
Yeah.
did
That's
we
not fun.
did we
Clock
pass
tower.
the sewer section with
The right hand man.
yeah?
That's after.
That's later, I
There's
think.
so many. I always like, even though I've played it 4 times, I always forget which section comes where.
It's very mixed and match in that way.
Did you kill him,
forget-
by the way, in the sewer?
First time
Yes.
I did not.
Well,
I
I
did.
tried to do it the normal
I didn't
way.
know you could to begin with.
Yeah, you can.
It-
Tried
it's
to, 'cause
very
you
hard.
use the liquid nitrogen stuff.
Yeah, he can
Yeah,
only
you get C1000.
he
Yeah.
only takes damage when you put the. He doesn't take damage unless it's
Because
frozen.
I tried to do it the normal way, but then even after I used all my ammo and it was still so I thought, okay, I'll die and then I'll just use the RPG after.
Yes, use the RPG. That's
yes,
what I
you
did.
freeze him and then use RPG and he's done in one shot.
Yeah.
So yeah, clock tower first, then you go through that room and fight the 2 blind guys at the same time. Then
I didn't not see the bells until after the fight. I was like,
Well,
oh.
I did, but
that
the
room
problem
fucked
is
me up.
because you get chased by the other guy, and then I'm
Well,
gonna have to
there's
shoot
too
them.
many. There's
Yeah,
too
you
many.
shoot
and
one
then
of the non-blind guys, and they'll go roll and turn around and
That
start
was it.
mauling
You also had to like
chunks out of
run around to make sure like so it was just the blind guys left, and then it was a lot easier. But
Yeah.
until then,
you. Yeah, that room didn't make me have a good
Yeah,
time.
I wasn't.
Then
I'm not entirely sure if it
Salazar-
was the difficulty was fair.
I was
the old
being.
fake floor after that, and you
I-
kind of fall into the fake trap, and it's like, oh no, why won't he die?
Where is the sound of the splat?
Then you get the striker at that point in the game, and that's when the game became a lot more
Yeah.
fun for me.
So yeah, this
Then
is
it's
where
Verdugo.
yeah. So the Verdugo is actually only weak in his head if you want to fight him regularly.
Aren't we all?
But,
Weak in
but
the head.
that's very hard. So I just froze him first instant I got and used the rocket launcher.
The thing is, I tried to do
I
it. I
ran
tried
like
to do
a
it the
coward.
regular way.
You can just wait until the.
Yeah,
time,
you can just wait
Well,
4
no,
minutes
yeah,
as
but I
well.
thought no, it's probably got something important. I want this whatever it's called.
It drops like a crown or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sort of like a piece. It was either or the piece for it.
I think it's crown self, and then you find the pieces later.
Yeah.
Yeah, you find 2 pieces that you can add to combine, and then you get more things you can sell to.
After that, you then meet Krauser for the first time. Well, you don't meet him, but he's shown in the game for the first time at that point.
And meanwhile,
We need to talk. I'm not sure if we want to talk about Krauser now or later. We need to talk about that character at some point.
I'm guessing there's some backstory in the previous
Was it-
games that I'm just not
Yeah,
aware
was
of.
it-
I
was
was
he
not
a-
aware of him.
So
Okay,
here's the
never
thing: the entire game treats him as if he's like some sort of return character. This is the first game he appears in. He never appears
Oh.
before this.
Yeah.
I don't
I want to know
understand.
that. That's,
That's even more confusing.
but
than
does
it
he
was
appear in
before
any?
then. Okay.
Well, actually, no, he can't appear in any games after. I suppose.
Wah, wah.
Never mind. So
Yeah, he seems like a right laugh, Krauser. I'm glad that he's in the game. Joyless.
it almost feels as if they ran out of boss ideas at some point and thought, what about just like an army dude?
Okay, hi.
How about this fella?
Yeah, with
I
like a
guess.
prototype arm.
Bit of
Yeah,
variety.
alright, yeah.
But
Then
that's
you go
much
into
later.
Then you fight the 2 El Gigantes in the weird like Mortal Kombat arena.
Did you do the thing where you
I had
dropped
to.
the- Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
did, it
forget-
did it stand next to the pit after it went in?
No.
I saw him lunge at me. I stood away from the distance. I was like, oh no, I see what's going to
That's-
happen.
I did
Yeah,
it, It was
I
only
said-
after
I stood a
I
bit too
looked up
close.
after that you can't do it twice. That's the problem. I was thinking, why is it
Yeah.
not working? It's like, well, this feels very arbitrary.
I had to use that zip line maybe 8 or 9 times to put
Yeah,
a
that
gap
was- that was
between me
the
and
main
him, and
strategy.
then shoot him. Yeah, kind of shoot him in the back, and then again use zip line, go up there, wait till he hits the zip line, go down it, shoot him till he gets
Is that-
closer, run around him
Because
again.
there's no
up zip
reason
line.
why you can't use that thing more. Because you can use it more than once if you fuck up the first time.
The zip line works several times, but the sliding door does not. Explain that one to me. At this point of the game, my ammo was desperately low. I had nothing left. Only a TMP ammo left, and then you go into the room with the horrible flying things again, and it's like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
the big room.
Yeah, the big cat.
I
more like cabin.
really hated that. That really caused me
I just
issues.
sat in a
Yeah.
corner, shotgun.
But they throw a lot of them at you, and they come
Yeah.
behind you sometimes as well for no reason. I got flanked
Yeah.
at one point.
I think this
come on.
this just gets to the particularly this, and then the next area after this. The sheer quantity of guys that you deal with is a lot
Yeah,
higher.
you had to climb the tower, take the elevator, and there's just a bunch of guys that come after you.
Mm.
It's
Especially
very
the crush trap
annoying.
section, which has no purpose as well.
Oh, you mean the giant ball?
Oh, yeah. That's very
They're
tricky.
there for like one area of the game, and then they never reappear again, and they're not even that threatening. It seems pointless having them there. This is where you go into the catacombs part, isn't it? When you have to try and find the thing for the door so you can progress. You have to go underground into like the ruins
like
sort of
a
area.
Donkey Kong level.
Basically, that's when I learned that there were more than one Chainsaw Man. It wasn't the same person. So I knocked one. I just kind of like 2-floored section underground. I knocked one down on the ground floor. Went upstairs thinking, hey, I'll get the thing. Then there's another one sitting there.
Yep.
And he goes,
Yeah.
"Meh," and then all of a sudden I'm now a human
And then-
pest dispenser out of
yeah.
nowhere. I didn't enjoy that at all. That was probably my biggest jump scare in the entire game, was actually seeing two chainsaw men back to back, not knowing that they weren't just the same
Yeah.
person. Really hated that. Then you get the minecart sequence after that.
Oh, the minecart sequence.
That's very DKC. I very much did not
It
enjoy
was
that.
alright.
It's
It's not alright when you had to deal with a bunch of enemies and then you failed the last QTE and you had to do it all again.
I only had
this-
ammo the
this-
TMP
this
at this
sounds like
point,
skill
and
issue again.
it ruined all my TMP ammo. All I had left was a knife and just murderous intent.
I mean, I don't actually remember messing up a QTE in the game. They were just
Krauser, I fucked up.
they were obnoxious, but they were never
I
impossible.
had my controller down during the Krauser cutscene, not thinking about it, and then all of a sudden it's like, AX. It's like, oh, well, nope. That ain't gonna happen. And there's that also the giant Salazar statue,
The big statue.
which then kind of walks towards you.
Yeah.
And it's the goofiest thing I've seen in my entire life.
Yeah.
There's no reason for it.
Well,
It-
I like
it-
if you throw a knife through Salazar's hand, that might be the funniest thing in the entire game.
They really didn't like it.
It was hilarious. It's like, no, my hand. And there's some like witty line that Leon says afterwards that I've not written down, but I'm sure it was hilarious.
He's funny. He's a funny lad. Leon.
I only
Like a
rem-
Schwarzenegger-esque line.
I only remember the right hand man thing, like your right hand comes off. Hey.
Oh, that's awful. Not at all.
All his lines are awful, but everyone treats them
Yeah.
like they're the greatest insults known to man.
And then that's when you get the ascent up the tower.
Yeah, up
thing,
ascent
and
up the
fucking,
tower.
Fucking
Yeah.
hell.
It wasn't. It's
Fucking
not
hell.
bad.
It was fine.
Yeah.
It was the crossbow guys.
Shoot them in
that
the
you
head.
couldn't see.
Okay, the
But
part
no,
where
but-
you have to stay on the elevator. That
yeah,
one's
they're
a bit
landing
tricky.
on you, so you're shooting the guys landing in front of you.
I'll
You've
give
got
you
guys
that.
who are shooting you from a distance that you can't see because you've got things in front of you that are going on at the same time. Like, I can't shoot two things at once. I haven't got two heads, unfortunately.
But they have.
But that was infuriating. I really didn't like that at all. Fucking crossbows. So yeah, is there any good game with a single good elevator sequence?
MGS1.
I was going to
I was
say.
thinking, I was going to mention it. I put in my notes. It was better
Snake,
than
they're
the
in there
NGS
with you.
elevator. Yeah,
Watch
it's
out,
better than
Snake.
that. I could see what was hitting me slightly in this one at least. I'll take that. But every game with an elevator sequence is always shit.
Mass Effect.
Jesus Christ.
Oh god.
Now you're clutching at straws here.
This is my
They're all
favorite
awful, and I
elevator.
wish folks need to stop doing it. It's terrible. But yeah, that's when you get to the Salazar fight.
Yeah.
How do you guys find this fight?
It's like pretty much like all other old Resident Evil fights. You shoot the giant eyeball.
At this
Yeah.
point, I had so many magnum bullets that I was
Yeah.
just pumping
Plus-
lead into him.
A giant like one-hit kill mouth fucked me up on a couple of occasions. I didn't know it was there. What I learned is to just not be in the way when that happens, and just go back to the center again. And after that, it was just smooth sailing.
For some
I mean,
reason,
the only boss fight I had trouble with was Krauser, but we'll talk about that later.
for some reason,
All the
I
others
always,
were pretty doable.
I always think of the first boss fight in Arkham with the poison ivy when I think of this fight as well, because it's like a giant flower kind of thing.
Yeah,
It's
just
got a bit,
fucked up.
it's got a bit of like a one-winged angel vibe going on with his face all kind of like half transformed and shit.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I just used the auto rifle and just took pot shots at him until he
Yeah.
died.
Or use rocket launcher and he dies directly.
They go down to the bottom part. They spawn those weird like face hugger things.
Yeah,
repeatedly,
I
which is-
fell down there once. I was like, oh god, no.
I don't know ammo. I had to get more ammo. And I was
Yeah.
like, okay, I'll come to here, then go upstairs quickly. 'Cause I don't like being down here anymore. And then that's all fine. I've got a complaint about the next part. So you go to the part where there's like some crates to sort of resupply and stuff. They put a snake in one of those fucking crates after a boss battle. Proper dick move. I did not like that at all. Don't put crates and crates and snakes
Just have
at
to
the
get,
end of a
you
bloody
just have
boss
to get
sequence.
used to knifing crates twice, just in case.
Yeah.
I know, but I was so kind of like tired from that fight. Oh, good, I can take a bit of
Yeah,
respite here. And the fucking snake bites me.
I've connected like some negative ASMR like every time you knock up like you cut up a box and then you can hear like the tss, like the snake.
You find out that Asher isn't even on the same fucking island. She's been moved
Yeah.
to another island, which apparently they have lots of islands.
but
in
Which
space
is-
and
at,
it's
lost
at this
section.
point, I thought like the game was already like building up to a fairly,
a crescendo.
climax.
Yeah.
but then it's sort of that crescendo gets delayed a lot longer than I thought it would. It's like I thought,
Game has a very prolonged end game, which
yeah.
So this
I don't mind, but this
Yeah,
this
but
next sequence is a fucking
I
nightmare.
mean, I don't know if I'd necessarily say that as a negative, but it kind of just caught me off guard. I thought we'd be nearly done at this point, but still another
Can have
like
too
4
much
hours
of
at
a good thing
least.
sometimes.
this last section was with like some sort of is it
militia?
militia.
There's some horrible enemies here. You've
What
got
is-
the fucking the
is it an
Slipknot
oiled-
rejects with
Yeah.
the baton shocks, which are great, and you've got the Mad Max body armor rejects, which are also
Well,
terrible.
the
And
guys with
then
the
the guy
miniguns.
with the minigun guy, I saw him jump down. I was like, oh fucking hell, no.
Yeah, minigun guys always bad news. That's just, I mean, they're not difficult to avoid, but they just sponge
This
so
section
fucking
is
much.
way too long in my opinion.
And they're so quick, the zombies down here too. They just bolt at you, and it's
Yeah.
like, oh,
Yeah.
come on. And they start throwing really like cheapy things at you. There's a part where there's like a garage door that's got 3 crossbow guys. Like,
Oh, you
sitting
mean
on
the
the
one
other
that-
side of it.
You mean the one that opens,
That
you kill
keeps
them,
closing and opening, closing.
and then when you
Yeah,
kill
that-
them, there's new guys
yeah.
on the other side
Yeah,
again.
there's no need for that. That's
It's like, it's
completely
like a fucking
unnecessary.
Scooby Doo sketch or something.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Yeah, I really hated that. And then they start throwing in new enemies like the regenerators.
this fucking
Oh,
guy.
you need to tell us about this guy.
Now, I didn't know that there was a thermal scope in this.
Why
until
do you need the thermal? Say that first.
Because they have certain parasites that
Parasites.
you must destroy on their body to kill them. I guess you can kill them without that, but it just takes a lot of.
well, you need to
You know,
guess.
I never.
lot.
I suppose if you just guess where they, I suppose you could.
If you use a shotgun, you could brute force it.
Yeah.
Spray and pray, basically.
But then,
in that
if you
situation.
don't shoot those parasites, whatever you shoot, they will regen and come back and come back and come back. And
It wasn't until I got to the later that it wasn't until you got to the other regenerators that I had to go back and get the scope because it was untenable at that point.
So
Yeah.
the worst part of these guys is they look horrible. They're fucking
They sound
they're-
horrible.
They are
Aw.
they are the freakiest things in this game. I think
it's the breathing. They're like,
Yeah,
I
it's
don't
a
think this-
fantastic design.
I think the spiky ones are worse looking wise than the regular ones, but they're both really unpleasant.
the fact that you can enter a room and you hear their breathing.
Yeah.
It's so unnerving.
I'm wondering if they reused the same sound clip for the remake because they sound exactly the same.
Yeah, you can't beat perfection, right? Why not?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah, but then you get a little fun
moments
bit
like
with the
that
crane
where
afterwards.
you remember it's a survival horror game.
Yeah.
And then you get a fun sequence with the crane, so you can actually grab folks and put them into the trash compactor. That's quite fun. Again, there's no need for that to be there.
Yeah,
It's
very silly.
appreciated if not unnecessary. Then you get to the spiky regenerator. You know what they're called in the game, the spiky ones?
Iron Maiden.
Excellent.
Excellent.
Yeah, and they've got a parasite on their fucking back.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I basically had to just try to guess and shoot through them.
Well,
with the
what
rifle.
did-
If you shoot their legs, they're actually faster on the ground than
The
they are on their
flopping,
Well,
feet.
that's-
the fucking flopping movement is horrible.
Well, that was
Yeah.
what I did. You shoot all the ones you can, then I blew their legs off, and then that gave me a shot at
Yeah,
the
but
back.
they move quick on the ground. Though.
Yes,
It's terrifying
yes.
how fast they move on the ground. I
Yeah.
really didn't enjoy that at all. Thank God they don't see any more of those.
So then you continue. What did you think about the section where she drives the giant truck?
It's interesting. It's slow. It's very slow.
But there's so many enemies.
Yeah, that's after you do that weird
that's
wrecking
a
ball
lot of like this
room.
final area in general. It's like the way they've made it more difficult is just more.
You enjoy
the
the
most
wrecking ball room before that, with the onslaught of enemies coming towards you. You have to hit the wrecking ball through the wall to get through the door.
Oh, I did
Yeah.
not like that room.
No,
Yeah, I
that
didn't
went
have
on for far too
a
long.
particular problem with it, but
Coming out the goddamn walls at that point.
I'm
it's
pretty
just
sure
like,
at
come
this
on.
Yeah.
point, the enemies are just infinite, are they? Just respawn.
No,
in certain
no,
Yeah,
no, 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 no. You can kill everyone in that room.
But they get spongier and spongier, and they're dropping less and less nice things. Now, I got a little bit burned out at this point. I started thinking the end must be soon, right? I need to get to the end. I'm getting like Zambo
I mean that's one of the.
now.
I mean I have minor complaints, but the one like sort of I'd class as a major is just the fact that it overstays its welcome at the end.
Yeah, 'cause at this point it should be starting to like wind up to the end, but the end is like
It's-
three
because
different
I don't want
acts
to. I
to
don't
it.
want to like phrase as, oh, I'm annoyed that there's more video game to play, but it is
Yeah, the digger thing was cool though. I think it was again. It wasn't really that
maybe
exciting.
the
to
pacing
be
could have been
honest.
done better.
Yeah.
The digger thing, the digger one was that's quite funny. So I actually got grabbed from behind. They just dropping ones like in front of you and behind you, and one managed to get me from behind and like take a chunk of my fucking jugular. Didn't enjoy. But apart from that, it was, it's
then
just more things.
Then you lose
that keep them
Ashley
more with it,
again.
maybe? Oh yeah, Sadler uses his Jedi mind tricks on Ashley, and she goes away. And then what would have been more fun is that if the Sadler ordered Ashley to try and kill Leon, a bit of like an internal struggle thing. That'd been quite cool actually.
Yeah.
You have to like knock her unconscious, stop her from trying to like take a bite out of you or
So
something.
if I'm
like
playing
that.
Metal Gear Solid again, I'm yearning for it.
But it worked there because it was interesting. Maybe they tried to do that so they wouldn't retread the same way with Metal Gear Solid. We can't do the same thing. They won't like it.
Hold on. Is it the last island section with like the giant centaur thing?
The it.
The it. Was,
It.
or was that in the castle? I see. I played this.
I
that
don't
is,
think so.
That's because Sadler directly sends it after you. So I think this.
Yeah,
after
that's
this
later.
point.
It's later.
Yeah,
I've got
see, I
notes on mine.
forget. There's so many fucking enemies.
You
in
do
this
the
game.
initial Krauser QTE fight
Yeah.
first before
Yeah.
that.
Oh Christ!
They do a nice little knife fight for some reason.
I don't know why. It's
mean,
really
No,
tight.
because he
but-
says that knives
well.
are better. Doesn't he say that? Or did you do that in the
Hand
remake?
to hand is the basis of all.
It's like the end of Commando, basically. Let's party. Let off some steam, Krauser.
Let's dance.
Yeah. So
Then
what,
you get.
did you
and
like
there's like
those
there's
QTE
like-
there?
8 or 10 QTEs right
Yeah.
after each other. It was so.
You've got like back-to-back
Overwrought.
quick time event sequences. You've got the Krauser fight, then you've got the laser corridor right afterwards.
Oh yeah.
Which,
Yeah.
if I understood correctly, they only have that there because the movie came out, and they have that in the movie.
Yes.
Part
that-
of me thought that the movie had taken it from the game.
No, I
but
think it's the other
vice
way.
versa.
Yeah.
yeah.
But the movie came out like 3 years prior to this, which I'm quite surprised that they took inspiration from the fucking movie for this
Oh,
game.
but
It's
that's-
really out of place.
I mean, it's the best sequence from that movie, so it makes sense.
Yeah, but it has no place in
It's
this
not,
game.
it's not the
let's be
best
honest.
sequence in the game. That's for damn sure.
Doesn't. But then you can sit inside those cool chair afterwards though and
yeah.
look badass for a few
Contemplate.
seconds.
And then he
for no
looks like
reason.
Conker from Conker's Bad Fur Day.
Yeah, I don't know why that's there.
Oh
but
yeah, it's after this like front route sequence where you go underground and you
Yeah.
come
This is when you
across.
fight the thing. Yeah.
What did you think of that section? Because I
I
found
like the
annoying.
first part was quite tense.
Yeah, I
quite
like
going
the
through and
idea
trying to
of
hit the
it.
buttons and stuff. Because like part fight, part puzzle. That's kind of where the games
Yeah.
like are at their strongest. I
Yeah.
really enjoyed that part. The second phase, not so much.
He was pretty. I just used Magnum when he hit Basil and the went down easy.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it wasn't that. It was actually a little bit less exciting than I thought. it'd
I
be.
used most of my Magnum stuff on the Krauser before.
See, at this point, this is when I purchased all the upgrades for the striker, so I had 100 striker rounds to
damn.
Have fun.
keep me going. I used 80 of them for this fight.
But wait, Craig, isn't Krauser after this?
Cross
Yeah,
is
so,
on-
yeah, so after you fight the thing in
Okay,
the,
then.
the
Okay, I've got mixed up. It is after then.
yeah, my notes say that. So
I thought
after
we
you do
already
the
did it.
whole elevated platform thing, and they all drop down, and you do the bit on land, and then after that, you then get into the Krauser fight afterwards.
And then
The
this.
Krauser fight's long. The Krauser fight, I didn't like.
I hated, at least on hardcore, the whole movement, like the millisecond you're supposed to have when he like comes, you're supposed to shoot him when he has the shield down.
Ah, Aha!
You mean you cover the first phase first, going through
Well, the first
entire-
phase wasn't really much of an issue.
Yeah,
It was
Yeah.
tedious.
tedious maybe, but yeah.
So I actually like the crosser fights, and I'm going to tell you why. The trick is you have to use the knife. He is weak to the knife. He gets stunned by the knife, and it
My
takes
God.
like 7 slashes before he dies.
It was foreshadowing the first part the entire time.
Yes.
Why didn't I think of that? Also,
I-
he has these
I
weird
used
like
a revolver
robots that
instead.
he used to fight with. You don't see
Yeah,
again at any point.
Yeah,
after
those
this game
robots
takes
come from
place.
no fucking where. And then yeah.
Yeah, you get some Skynet machines that suddenly appear and then they're gone as soon as he's dead. And it's
They're like
what-
suicide drones that fly
Yeah.
right at you.
One flying machine that you see, and that's pretty much it ever. It never come back to the game ever again. And it's like, well, why are they here? There's no need. They have no purpose.
Question, because this for the health, because you could combine red, blue, and green to make
No, there are
so
no
red,
blue.
green, and yellow.
There
To
we
get like when you use them, your health goes up like indefinitely.
Yeah.
Did you have your health the full way in the game, or
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Did you give Ashley any of the yellow?
I
herbs?
upgraded her as well?
No way.
Upgraded
Yeah,
her as
but
well.
I knew that'd be an answer.
So the moment I had fully upgraded my health, I was like, oh, I have yellow herbs left. Next time I see Ashley, I'm just going to give it to her.
Yeah.
Never see him again at that point. Apart from a little bit at the end.
Then they had a little bit of
I hope
yellow
it was
to give
worth
to
it.
her. And then I sold a fair bit of yellow herbs after I fully
Oh, you
upgraded.
got that far.
I was saying
But-
with the Crusher fight, I thought Crusher would be a little bit more horrifying than he actually was. He said like a funky arm, and that
Yeah.
was pretty much it.
I've actually
Yeah.
through all these years, I thought that because it looks a bit more like the T virus. I thought he had the T virus, but apparently it is Plaga that he also
It looks
has.
like the guy from Prototype with the
Yeah.
big blade
I
arm.
can't believe it's not Plaga.
But it is Plaga.
Yeah, and then you beat him, then the place bomb goes off, and I
Explode.
died in the bomb. I
Oh,
was looking where I
really?
was going.
Oh, damn.
I didn't know where I was going. I didn't know where the exits were, so I went to the wrong exit, and then I couldn't get out in time, and then I had to do the whole fight again. That was fun.
Oh.
Yeah, there's no like checkpoint after the fight. The checkpoint is right back at the beginning of the entire sequence,
Oh god.
I'm glad that didn't
which
happen to
was
me.
great. Love that.
Then that section with the helicopter comes, which
My
is
favorite character in the game, Helicopter Mike. Let's
Yeah,
go.
Mike. He knows a good bar.
Love Mike. Mike was great.
that
Came out
entire.
of nowhere, became the best
Yeah.
character in the game. Just banter and
Yeah.
rockets. It was great.
On hardcore, that got pissed me off really because he like glitched and he didn't destroy any of the buildings, so I didn't have any help from him at all.
Thing with me, I saw like the opening sequence where there was like 8 zombies, and I thought I can't beat the guy. I've got no ammo left. I can't really do this. And all of a sudden, Mike X Machina appears and just blows them all up. And it's like, thank you, God, please help me out.
And then he
That
does.
whole sequence is quite fun. Then he gets slaughtered.
Doesn't a helicopter crash in every Resident Evil game?
I think so. Yes, it's like a running joke.
RE
Yeah.
tropes. I like how Sandler calls him immediately afterwards and roasts Leon for kind of what
Oh, then
happened.
you
That's a shame.
you can like look over at the crash and then Leo's
Yeah.
like, "I will avenge you, Mike. I fucking miss you."
This is how petty he is. He's going to call Leon to rub his face into it some more. It's like, come
Leon,
on, man.
Leon reacts more. He is distraught or Mike, but if you accidentally shoot like Ashley or something, it's like, oh,
oops.
no.
Oh, I'll never get that. I'll never get that bar location.
So anyway, then you get to is that the lab then where you can
see Ada again, and Leon does his best kind of Johnny Depp impression on Ada, Special Strangler.
Yeah, oh, man.
But
I'm sorry, Johnny Depp. Please don't watch our episodes. Yeah, and then it's like, okay, I need to get this shit out of me because I'm gonna lose it at this point.
that's such a weird scene though. Is like okay, now you do me. It's like I have no idea what I'm doing on this machine.
They mention that it's really painful and that it could kill you, but
Yeah.
the risk is sort of brushed off very quickly, and it's like, okay, I'm back to normal
Well,
again.
Yeah.
it's like because if you don't
I
do
thought they'd
anything,
play
you're
it out
gonna,
a bit longer.
it's either die or die and be.
No, but it's
I
like
thought they'd at
bad.
least, but there's no like after effects. They aren't like in pain or like you know like
Yeah,
struggling
but,
through
plus-
like a part of the game.
they don't like. Do you know how this machine works? Like, no.
See,
just
I
radiation,
thought
probably.
it'd be like some kind of like surgical thing where they literally like rip it out or something, where it
It's
just like dissolves.
electronic.
That's
Yeah.
a bit Dead Space, isn't it? Yeah.
This put some radiation in there, and whoops. There you go.
Oh, well, so you'd have a
Leon.
different problem there.
Leon,
But
you
they
have
play at the risk
tumors.
so much that the actual like the aftermath is quite anticlimactic at that point because it's like, okay,
Yeah.
they're out. Okay, cool. None of us were impacted by it. No one like. You should have had like Ashley's Heartstop have like a quick time event CPR
Oh
thing
god, no.
to
Yeah,
bring her
that's
back
what we
to
need, more
life.
cuties.
And make it a bit more engaging. That
Can
way, at
I
least.
spoil as well the extra little campaign thing?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, yeah, sure.
Eric, you didn't finish that, did you?
No.
Oh, okay.
I did.
After you were, because you leave him in that room when he attacks, and Ada fights him in the cutscene. You actually fight him as Ada there,
Ooh, interesting.
and it's a totally
What?
like he's got like super speed and like tentacles and shit. Like,
Tentacles and shit as well. Why not?
Yeah.
Tentacle.
oh,
Yeah,
and
I
another
remember that
spoiler.
part.
Another spoiler. It wasn't Leon that killed Krauser. It's Ada.
Technically, no, yeah, because he survives in this really annoying sequence with Krauser. It's almost the exact same fight, but worse. in
Yeah.
the Ada campaign.
I lost out on all this plot. I can't believe this.
It's you can miss it out and be completely content with what you've watched. It's fine.
I didn't feel
Then-
the need to go back to the other campaign.
Then we get the Sadler fight, and that is quite underwhelming. I felt.
Yeah, it is.
They chalk another one up for disappointing final bosses that we
Yeah,
played.
because it's only one phase. Wii Sports are really obviously signposted. It has no like other attacks apart from just being up close, apart from throwing
just
things that
sorta-
are easily
it's
avoided by
just
quick
kinda-
events.
Yeah, just sort of happens.
Yeah.
You
Then the-
you shoot him in this eye leg. You run up to him and you trigger like a cutscene basically where you knife him in the big eye.
Or you can shoot him in the eye.
You can also shoot him, but if you walk up to him, you can do a knife attack that
Slashy.
does a lot of
Rinse and
damage.
repeat, essentially, isn't it? It's quite dull
Yeah.
at that point. Then you get the special
The,
rocket
the
launcher from
only
Ada.
the only time I died was when I tried to go across the bridge and the bridge fell out. Fell in.
Press the buttons faster. Trigger buttons. Then you get the red rocket launcher, which is special for reasons that the game doesn't quite explain.
Because it comes from Ada. That's why.
Oh, is that why it's red, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, then you just kill him and then that's
Ride off into the
the end of
sunset.
him.
No, and then you have the timer because the island's gonna explode.
The escape sequence is so like arbitrary and odd, and it doesn't really. There's no like urgency. I don't think. What they should have had is have like Sadler like chase you out of the
That would be better.
the cave at
No,
the end.
okay. He's coming on a surfboard after you.
Sure.
You have like a final like horrifying transformation.
It's just
Where he's got
weird 'cause
like
some
eight
of the-
arms and he's like climbing the walls and shit. You have to try and be fast to avoid it on the jet ski, but it's quite dull the jet ski escape
yeah.
actually.
I think it's because when you look like what the Krauser fight and that boss before, by comparison, that everything else kind of feels a lot easier by it. It kind of
Yeah.
peaked too
strong
early.
MGS vibes at the end with the
Yeah.
escape sequence as well.
Have
Maybe I'm
you-
trying to think too much about kind of how that game ended with the. I mean, I hated that fight at the end of Metal Gear Solid. So maybe it wasn't a good idea.
Have any of you seen that glitchy version where he jumps on the jets like?
Yeah, he just drives off.
Yeah, he
down the
drives
jet
off.
ski.
Him instead, and she sits there on the jet ski. Like it's just him on an invisible, like on. It looks
Yeah,
really
then they go off
funny.
into the sunset, and then
Yeah.
Leon flirts with Hunnigan. So.
Ashley tries to flirt with Leon. And it's
Yeah.
like, sorry, I don't go with.
I'm an
daughters.
incel. I'm sorry, I can't do that.
It's an incel franchise.
And the
Resident
game
Evil.
ends on the worst line ever. He goes like, "Story of my life." Wah, wah. And then the credits roll. Now I hated it.
10 out of 10.
The actual credits, you actually get like a storybook sequence where you see what
Not reading that
happened to
shit.
the.
Yeah,
You see like illustrations of how the village used to be before
Yeah.
like Lord Sadler arrived. That was
Still a
kind of
shithole.
interesting.
there
There was apparently children in that village that we never saw.
It's a bit too
I'm okay
late,
with
but
that.
did any of you ever know the original Resident Evil 4 how it looked before it turned into this?
There was a lot of different versions.
But it
one
was
that-
more like horror and ghosts and stuff.
There was also there was a version before that, but that was so different that it was instead turned into the first
Devil May
May
Cry.
frame.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember hearing about that one
yeah.
before. This game had like 4 different prototypes that they tried to
Yeah.
like.
You can see on
Beach.
YouTube. On YouTube, you could actually, but then because it's the castle and it looks really horror, and there's like a ghostly kind of.
And they still like fixed camera angles with
Yeah.
occasional behind the back. So it's a sort of like a mix between old and new in a weird way.
Yeah.
Thank God I went for this instead. The fixed camera angles didn't really. I hated them. In the first games, I didn't like him at all.
So there you have it, Resident
So-
Evil 4. So,
Yeah,
join us
it
next week when
was-
we play Resident Evil 4,
Wait,
the
wait,
remake.
Hey, wait a minute.
If I were to summarize my thoughts on this one, I can understand why it was so highly appraised when it came out, and I think for the most part, a lot of it still holds up. I think it's a masterpiece. No.
Interesting.
Would I play it again? Probably, if I had to. I wouldn't
you,
mind
need to
it too
play,
much.
you need to play it on hardcore and the remake.
I don't think I have to do that.
It
no.
is one of those games where it has
I would
a
be
certain,
intrigued
a
about the
certain
remake.
level of replay to it.
Remake
Yeah.
would now intrigue me now than it did before, because that seems like I like to see how they'd improve on the things that
I'll
maybe
tell
haven't aged
you-
quite as well.
It's almost a totally, no, not totally different, but there's like totally new sections, cutscenes.
Fair.
Yeah, but the remake is totally different.
Okay, fair enough. I guess you can sort of like move and shoot at the same time in the remake.
Not that different then.
I'm not playing it then. Alright, cool, fair enough. Never mind.
I liked
yeah,
it. I liked it.
So yeah, I will
I think for
also
the
say
most
that
part, it lived up to what I was expecting.
I can certainly see. I enjoyed playing it for the most part in short bursts, of course.
Mm.
Big scaredy cat.
I was the same. I couldn't play like the whole thing in one sitting. I had to kind of do like hour-long chunks
I
here
did,
and there.
to start with, I did it, but then towards the end, I just sort of marathoned the last bits.
So, but what this game has made me feel is like actually feel like I want to play both like the remake and also the other Resident Evil games in the franchise.
I'm gonna play through 3 and.
I
2
mean, I don't
again.
know if I'd want to play the earlier ones because of this, but just in the remake, I'll probably want to try. Maybe
I
the
mean,
remakes of some of the earlier ones, 'cause I think they make them more bearable as well.
I know that
Yeah.
5 and 6 aren't as held in as much higher regard as 4. 6 especially, from what I've heard, really isn't
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
So,
The 5th one, that's Las Plagas again, by the way.
isn't
Las
that the
Plagas
kind
in
of the
Africa.
co-op-based one? Isn't
Yeah,
it?
it's the one in
Like-
Africa.
Yeah.
I heard that the AI in that isn't as good as it is in this game.
No.
And that thing's
And,
quite
and of
free.
course, if you want to meet Krauser again, you could play the Wii Dark Side Chronicles, I think.
so
No
many
thanks.
games to
Dark
keep
Side
track of.
Chronicles.
No, what's it called? Dark Side. It's
You're
the Umbrella.
correct.
Of the
No,
moon.
no one played Dark Side Chronicles.
It's the Umbrella Chronicles and the Dark Side Chronicles, isn't it? I have both.
It's
of them.
like it's like the V
It's
like
light gun one,
rail.
yeah.
And then
light
you can
gun
play
one.
the Survivor
no, I'm
light
not
gun
playing
game
the
on the
light gun
PlayStation
game.
as well, which
I-
only had
I think I might.
full support and didn't have light gun support.
I think I might have that some.
Then there's Revelations on the DS, and then there's other ones. There's too many games. That's the issue.
There's
That you
too
try and
many
get into a
games.
franchise for the first time. You have to play like 14 different games to understand the full story, and there's too much of an investment of time in that. Like Metal Gear Solid to an extent. You know, there's that many different games and sub games to really
Well, I mean-
fully immerse in the story that you've got no real starting point that really makes sense because there's so much to catch up on.
Well, you have like 30 years of lore.
I know, but some
Basically.
games you can skip some games and still get to the. If they're that kind of like plot dependent, though.
I don't think
then
Resident
you kind of-
Evil's that plot dependent though.
Wait, hold on. Wasn't the Dark Side Chronicles the Sonic game?
What are you talking about?
Oh, you know what? That's Sonic Brotherhood. I think you're thinking of that.
Fucking hell.
Maybe it's
I
called
don't
Dark
think
Side
I don't
Chronicles
think
for
there was
Resident
the last
The
Plagas in
BioWare
that.
game on the
Evil.
DS.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah. Brain no
So-
work.
Yeah, so yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's.
I mean, I don't know if if I had to give it a score. I don't think I'd rate it as highly as the Metacritic, but it won't be that far off.
7.5 out of 10.
Looking at it in a
8 out of 10.
2005 set of eyes, I can I can understand why it got the high nines that it did because nothing. This was kind of a trend breaking game. You know, it was a whole different bit
Yeah.
of genre
It-
more or
it-
less in its own
Ki-
right.
Yeah,
you know.
kind of, basically.
You can see its
Yes.
fingerprints everywhere.
I mean,
in
I think
different
that's
kind of
what, because
aspects
like
of
I
other
mentioned
games.
earlier, that's what we mentioned in the Alien Isolation. It almost felt like it almost reverted back to what was before Resident Evil 4 in its
Yeah.
style.
And think about when this was released. As you said, the Xbox 360 was released in the same year, so this was basically like moving into a completely different like era of video games.
The last hurrah of that generation at that point.
Yeah.
Kind of the pre-HD era coming to an end
Yes.
essentially at that
yeah,
point.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, if I had to give it like a numerical score, I'd probably give it a 8, I would say.
Yeah. 8 or 8.5.
Oh, that's fairly high.
Maybe a
Yeah,
9
I
or
wouldn't
two
Yeah,
push.
push
I
it.
think once I got past the initial hump of having nothing to really work with and then being more survival than action, once I actually had like enough stuff to keep myself alive with, I could then sort of enjoy it a little bit more. If I had to give it a critique, I would say that it's maybe 2 hours too long.
I could agree with
Maybe-
that.
I can see
yeah,
that.
that's the only major problem. A lot of the other stuff is stuff that I can work around.
So it's
Just-
quite,
Yeah.
it's quite fastly paced to begin with, and it sort of bogs down near the sort of the beginning of the third act
I
up
don't-
until the end.
Yeah.
That's probably my one major
there's a
critique
lot
with
you
it would be
could-
that.
Arguably, there's a lot you could cut out from that final island section, and it wouldn't feel,
Yeah.
and you wouldn't feel like you missed out too much.
You can
Yes.
cut out questions completely from the game, and it'd be no impact on the plot whatsoever. Stuff like that, it's. I'm not a massive, it's not a major issue. It wasn't like a deal breaker for me
No.
or anything like that. But I think it could have been a little bit. It's hard to take a game now with 18 years of hindsight
Yeah.
behind us, but
Hmm.
18 years more than that. It's
Well, I,
no, it is
I
18
think it's compared to a lot of other games at that time. It's very replayable, even in 2023 standards.
Yeah, I would play it more than I would want to replay the first games because it's just more modernized and it's more kind of user friendly going back to a game like
And it
that,
set a lot of standards that would become more like known later on as well.
and more refined later on. More to the point as well. So yeah, I think 8 out of 10 would be a fair score for me.
Yeah, that seems reasonable.
Yes.
So,
was fun.
shall we announce what's happening in next time on the bottom shelf?
So we are entering our kind of Zelda phase now. So we have the new Zelda game coming out soon. I've forgotten what it's called. Someone please help me.
Tears of the Kingdom.
That's
Tears
the
for
one that
Fears.
I completely forgot.
Tears of
So
Fears.
So
Shout.
to honor that, we're playing the Philips CDI.
we thought of playing Breath of the Wild or going back a little bit further, and given that the one we're playing is on the Switch Online N64 service, we're going for Ocarina of Time, that underrated
Wait, what?
gem that no one
Speak
talks about.
for yourself. I'm digging out my old console. Here.
I might
have it
actually
on
do that as well.
Mind you, I have to play on the Switch. I was playing Banjo-Kazooie
But-
on
but-
the Switch Online.
I thought we were
at
playing the
time,
Zelda.
so-
I thought we were playing the Zelda CDI one.
You can do
well,
that if you want.
I went on
Playing
eBay and bought a copy for
Wand of
500
Gamelon,
euros.
Let's go, my boy.
Oh, tough shit.
Yeah, so it'll be Ocarina of Time. That'll be the next one. So that should be an interesting one because that's a slightly older game.
It's
than
another
this,
like
so,
95 Metacritic game. It should,
Only the
We'll,
good
all the
stuff.
big
we'll
ones
give
so
it a
far.
lower
We've-
score
we've
like we
Metal
did
Gear
Resident Evil.
Solid, RE4, and Ocarina of Time. Robin for like fairly highly praised.
Yeah, we need to play something
we do
shit
shit
next.
games.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we really need to play.
How far away are we from playing another Sonic game?
Gag him
Another
for
one.
it.
Oh yeah.
I need Sonic, damn it!
Sonic 06 isn't available anywhere, so
Let's
we can't play that.
It's on the
Sonic,
PlayStation 3.
Sonic 4, Mega Man
Oh.
11.
That's a fun game. It's a very short game, Mega Man 11. Wouldn't really get us very far. Sonic
Anyway,
11 is on the
yeah.
Game Gear. But yeah, Ocarina of Time will be next, so we've got that to look forward to. So that'll be in like 6 months' time when we can get around.
Yeah, whenever I get finished editing this,
Also,
I
our
guess.
next episode after this is going to be the Christmas special.
Oh, good grief.
Let's all watch the Home Alone movies again.
Backwards.
Oh, then we get
Bye-bye.
come to the good. Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.
Happy days. Bye. That was a fucking disaster.
That's what happens when you don't keep notes on how long the certain
Good
sections.
hosting, Johan.
Johan's terrible at hosting. Yeah, you had no like plan whatsoever.
I did not.
What do you mean? We said this several days ago, at least. Even before then, you did never.
Oh.
No.